Hey, tea sippers. Come on. Oh, come on. It's too loud. Hey, tea sippers. Hey, tea sippers. So, it appears that BB Netanyahu has popped out. Really. I just don't know if I believe it. All of a sudden, when it started, did I take my all of oregano today? I don't think so. When it started popping up and popping out, dead or alive, you know, when I was talking about it the other night, when I didn't get nobody sleep. I mean, I was up all night trying to get confirmation. Everybody wasn't talking about it. Hey, Joe. Now it's all over the place because there was some confirmation and Trump knees started wobbling. You know, he already weak in the knees. So he started wobbling and ooh wee. It's about to be over. And it just didn't feel right. Now he coming out and all of a sudden here come BB Netanyahu. I don't know. Hey, Miss Tom. I don't know if I believe it. So I just don't believe it. It just seemed kind of staged, that hologram type stuff. I don't know. He need to walk. I need to see him on the streets. I need to see boots, tennis shoes, Stacey Adams. I need to see feet on the ground, walking and talking, so I can look at things that I know. Look for certain markers to see if he the real thing. Yeah. Because right now, I don't think I believe it. And then the way they be cloning up, no. But, and even the message don't seem right. It was televised. Yeah, no. Let's go.
We all hope for the toppling of this regime, but even if it doesn't happen, it will be much weaker. Hopefully,
is that how I started? Hold on.
We all hope for the toppling of this regime, but even if it doesn't happen, it
Hope.
will be much weaker. Hopefully, it will be overthrown,
Hopefully.
and then the problem will be solved. But anyhow, we're talking about a very different Iran, not as threatening as it used to be. It's not the same superpower.
Come on, BB. It wasn't a threat to the you should have left him alone instead of trying to strong arm. And you don't sound positive. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts. I hope. I wish and pray. No.
We all hope for the toppling of this regime, but even if it doesn't happen, it will be much weaker. Hopefully, it will be overthrown, and then the problem will be solved. But
I ain't going.
We're talking about a very different Iran, not as threatening as it used to be. It's not the same superpower. It's not this a huge monster that nothing can be done to face it, and we are acting together with others against them. This is why we decided to act together, Israel and the U.S., to continue what we did in the previous operation.
Wasn't posted on social media.
To prevent from Iran developing ballistic missiles that could threaten Israel.
You talking about being taken out?
We have formed an unprecedented alliance with the U.S., with our great friend, my own personal friend, President Trump.
Your booty buddy. You talking about your booty buddy? Hey, Monty. And so before, y'all remember when there was his office was targeted, and they were saying that he may have been taken out, and he came out. He came out personally. We started seeing him and talking, And then he kind of confirmed that he was still alive. He has not came out talking. Now this right here, but he ain't talking. He ain't on the grounds talking. This whole response, and how long has it been since the 3rd, 4th? The 6th. Yeah, no. And today is the 12th. Damn near a week. Okay.
We are also operating in order to advance yet another and President Trump.
Has he said something about his brother
Also
and
operating
his
in
head
order to
of
advance yet another goal in
Mossad?
great friend, my own personal friend, President Trump. We are also operating in order to advance yet another goal to prepare the conditions for the Iranian people so that they can remove the brutal regime that has been a dictator for them for decades now. And we are striking forceful strikes at the IRGC, both on the streets and in roadblocks, and we are still in full momentum. And I am saying to the Iranian people, once you can embark on a new path of liberty, this moment is now closer than ever. We are standing beside you. We are helping you, but at the end of the day, it is up to you.
Are you begging? Are you begging again? I mean, where is the confidence? Does it even, real or not? Where is the confidence? I mean, where is the Israel is going to da 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 da? Y'all done got y'all ass spanked. You done got spanked. Yeah, you ain't bouncing around talking that straight cash shit like you was talking. They done open up a can of whoop ass on you. Thank you, Mrs. Tom. Where is the confidence? Where is the, it's just not there. And it's I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
Advance yet another goal to prepare the conditions for the Iranian people so that they can remove the brutal regime that has been a dictator for them for decades now. And we are striking forceful strikes at the IRGC, both on the streets and in roadblocks, and we are still in full momentum. And I am saying to the Iranian people, once you can embark on a new path of liberty, this moment is now closer than ever. We are standing beside you. We are helping you, but at the end of the day, it is up to you.
Watch what exercise does to aging muscle.
What y'all think?
This is a muscle killer. This is a muscle killer.
What that sound like to you?
And this is a muscle killer.
Does it sound like we are on our shit? We fit Netanyahu dead or alive? Confirmed. He'll say confirmed 7 hours ago. They just not being honest, and because Trump is his best friend.
Citizens of Israel, my brothers and sisters, we are in historic days. Days that will be written in the annals of Israel. In Operation Roaring Lion, our war is growing and intensifying. We are pummeling the Islamic regime in Tehran. We are pummeling its emissaries, Hezbollah in Lebanon. There's unprecedented coordination between Israel and the U.S. and achieved substantial achievements that are changing the reality in the West Bank, in the Middle East and beyond. These achievements are increasing the status of Israel as
Let's make a deal.
Superpower more than ever. Through our power, and as an
Hold up.
opposition.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Let me see. New York Times. Trump removes sanctions on Russia to help oil flow amid Iran conflict. You scared? I mean, what? Or it's because they had joined forces. Is this your butter for the bread? What you mean? Trump removed sanctions. You scared, Fred? Oh. I think you scared, Fred. I think you scared. (9:48 p.m.) He removing sanctions. You was talking all that cash shit like you the man. And bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town. Yeah, Treasury Secretary. Yeah, you was talking cash shit. Yeah, I heard, and I've been busy today, but I heard that you are scared. Scared. You losing your mind. You don't want nobody to talk about, and you dang sure you don't want nobody asking about no treasury things, because you don't want them to be asking you where the money. You don't want to show no receipts to nothing. Miss Tom, didn't you ask about somebody's suit yesterday? Does he have on a bodysuit? oh no, I ain't paying for nothing. Gang, as soon as I was finna rag on that suit, it want me to pay. I ain't paying for nothing. Let's go. You scared. Something ain't right. Y'all done got something ain't right. Pay attention.
Achieved substantial achievements that are changing the reality in the West Bank, in the Middle East and beyond. These achievements are increasing the status of Israel as a superpower more than ever. Through our power, in opposition to the power of our enemies, this is what is ensuring our survival. Our threats come and go, but when we become a regional superpower, and in many respects a global superpower, we have the power to push away.
What's going on with his belly? He got on a vest. He got on a... Because they all scared. Oh, hold on. They all scared, y'all. Pam Bundy moving on the middle. You done talked all that shit. These people crazy. Now you on military base? Why? They said the cartel looking for her. Who else? It was a couple of places. I'm gonna have to go there. Why is Pam Bundy done move her whole little hole on military grounds? Why? What you do? Why you scared? Y'all talk a lot of noise to be scared. I don't understand that. But carry on. Let's go.
Israel as a superpower more than ever. Through our power, in opposition to the power of our enemies, this is what is ensuring our survival. Our threats come and go, but when we become a regional superpower, and in many respects a global superpower, we have the power to push away threats and ensure our future. In 1993, I published an article in one of the newspapers in which I wrote the biggest threat to the state of Israel is not in Arab states, but it is in Iran. Since then, for over 30 years, the murderous Ayatollah regime indeed has acted to attack the U.S. and the West. But first and foremost, it worked to implement its plan to destroy the state of Israel. It did it in 3 levels. The first, it built an axis of evil with Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, the Assad regime, and others. The second level, it operated to build tens of thousands of lethal ballistic missiles. And the third level, it worked to develop atomic bombs in a clear, open statement to erase us from the face of the earth. It will not achieve this. As Prime Minister of Israel, I
He
led
don't sound confident to me.
known and unknown actions that hurt Iran, that hindered its ability, and we have built our own military and technological capabilities, diplomatic capabilities, to strike Iran forcefully and to remove from over us these threats. All these efforts have joined together into the war from October 7th, the Rising Lion and Roaring Lion. We have significantly hurt the Islamic regime. It is still there, but it has been significantly weakened. We are determined to complete the job, to bring security to all citizens of Israel and the
Do y'all
residents of
know?
northern Israel.
Listen, I don't know, but we've listened to Netanyahu not gonna sue you talk before, right? We've listened to him. Y'all hit the like button. I just don't remember. I thought he would speak for himself. I just don't remember him needing a translator. This just seemed odd to me after being missing for damn near a week. He do speak English. He always speak with a thick tongue. Yeah, he speak. He may. This just seem. It just don't feel right to me. Let's go.
And southern residents. Hezbollah feels our wrath, and it will feel our wrath significantly and will pay a very heavy price on its aggression. In Operation Rising Lion, for the first time, we established the route to significantly hurt Iran's ballistic missile program and the production capabilities for
Roaring Lion,
missiles. The same thing with the nuclear program, by delivering a heavy blow to the nuclear scientists who plan to build a nuclear bomb to erase us. They have been removed, so they cannot achieve that. After Rising Lion, me and President Trump warned the Supreme Leader of Iran, if you will try to rebuild your death industries, we will hit you in a force that you have never known. Not only did he not listen, he opened in a speedy attempt to build more ballistic missiles and to hide them deep underground, beneath tall mountains. If we wouldn't act immediately, within a few months, the death industry of Iran would have been immune from any strike. That is why we went together into this operation, the U.S. and Israel, to continue what we did in Rising Lion, to prevent Iran to develop a nuclear weapon, to prevent Iran from developing ballistic missiles that would threaten Israel, the U.S., and the entire world. This is our objective. In a short amount of time, we eliminated the dictator Khamenei and numerous leaders in the regime of terror. We eliminated the old tyrant and the new tyrant, Mujtaba, a puppet of the IRGC, cannot show his face in public. We are pummeling the nuclear industry, the ballistic missile industry, and the launchers, the key points of power of the regime. Simultaneously, we are working to advance a new objective.
If you feel like you've tried everything to help your animal and nothing is sticking, I want you to consider a different...
It just don't feel right. It feels like it was U.S. written.
To create the conditions for the Iranian people that can remove this tyrant regime that is oppressing it for nearly 50 years. We are delivering decisive blows on the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, the Basij, in its headquarters, in its checkpoints, and there's still more to come. To the Iranian people, I say, the moment that you can embark on a new journey of freedom, this moment is...
They are winning.
We stand by your side. We are helping you. But at the end of the day,
this is U.S. written.
It is up to you.
Didn't Trump say that?
It is in your
This
hands.
is to help you. Didn't Trump say that? This speech is U.S. written.
Of freedom. This moment is coming closer. We stand by your side. We are helping you. But at the end of the day,
We stand about it. This is
it
repeating
is
the
up
same
to
thing
you.
Trump said.
It is in your decisive blows on the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, the Basij, and its headquarters and its checkpoints, and there's still more to come. To the Iranian people, I say, the moment that you can embark on a new journey of freedom, this moment is coming closer. We stand by your side. We are helping you. But at the end of the day, it is up to you. It is in your hands. Already now, we can say clearly, in certainty, it is not the same Iran, this is not the same Middle East, and this is not the same Israel. We are not waiting. We are initiating. We are attacking. And we are doing this in unprecedented force. We establish an unprecedented alliance with the United States, with our great friend, my personal friend, President Trump. We talk nearly on a daily basis. We speak freely.
Well, why was he
as if we're in a bar
finding out
exchanging
yesterday
ideas and deciding
that you
together.
may have been
President
taken
Trump
out?
told me
It's
something that I
spooky.
want to share with
I
you
agree.
a short hour ago. This is what he told me. The relations between us are stronger 100-fold than any other relations that a U.S. president had with the Prime Minister of Israel. We are not thinking only on our countries, on this generation. We are thinking of the next generations, the future of humanity. In these days, my people and I are establishing new alliances with regional countries, alliances that up until a few weeks ago would have appeared unimaginable. And we are doing this through the tremendous might that we have built, through the great abilities of our commanders, and through your steadfastness, the citizens of Israel. I know that you are adhering to the Home Front Command guidelines. You are entering time after time to the safe zones and shelters. I know this isn't easy. I know this is very hard, especially in the north. But by adhering to these guidelines, you're also saving lives and also giving the breathing room and support to me, to the Israeli government, to the IDF and defense establishment to achieve the objectives of the operation. How did Trump tell me once? Only in Israel the emergency flights are opposite. Everywhere in the world they want to flee the war, but only with you in Israel, everyone wants to come back. Where does the spirit come from? And I tell him, this is the secret of our success. The steadfastness of our people, the sense of belief in the eternity of the people of Israel.
I don't think I'm going. Hold on. I don't think I'm going. How y'all feel about it? How y'all feel about it, reporter? Iron Dome failing. I know it is. That Iron Dome that Trump
Want to start a podcast, but not sure how?
so you
Riverside has got you covered.
I don't know.
First, go to Riverside.
So guys, we're getting some new video out of Israel showing a significant Hezbollah attack on northern Israel. You can put these images up on the screen. These are fairly extraordinary. Of course, it's pretty rare. So guys, we're getting some new video out of Israel showing a significant Hezbollah attack on northern Israel. You can put these images up on the screen. These are fairly extraordinary. Of course, it's pretty rare to get any sort of video out of Israel because they have severe censorship. And you can see the significance of this attack. I mean, some of these are being intercepted, and some of them are clearly striking targets in the area. You know, this after the idea that had been projected, and I think that the Israelis maybe even believed that Hezbollah had been severely degraded after their top leadership had been taken out after the infamous Beeper attack. And yet, clearly, here they are able to fully join this war in a way that is, you know, fairly sophisticated. And at the same time, it appears that the Iron Dome is failing to intercept a sizable number of the missiles at this point that are being fired. And yet, clearly, here they are able to fully join this war in a way that is, you know, fairly sophisticated. And at the same time, it appears that the Iron Dome is failing to intercept a sizable number of the missiles at this point that are being fired towards Israel. We can put this next one up on the screen. This is pretty extraordinary. This reporter says that the Iron Dome could not stop about half of the 100 rockets that Hezbollah
Thanks for
launched
the
at
lucky
Israel
clover.
just a few hours
Monty,
ago.
thank you,
We
Miss
can also
Tom.
put the 3 up on the screen. Haaretz has some reporting about the quote-unquote hole in Israel's early warning system, and its missile
Oh,
defense
thank you,
batteries
me.
are at risk as well. And so basically what this article lays out in
Thank you.
detail is that when you have these missile defense systems, they also have to be protected. And so that has created tremendous vulnerability. And obviously, Sagar, it has been a strategy of Iran to target these defense systems. And they've been pretty effective, at least at our batteries in the region, in effectuating that target. That's why we had to pull the THAAD battery system from South Korea and bring it over, because some of the damage that had been incurred. And so their strategy was to take out those capabilities or degrade those capabilities early. And then that would enable them to be able to strike stronger blows using, fewer rockets, missiles, and drones, et cetera. And based on what we can see in terms of the degrading capability of the rocket interception here from the Iron Dome, that strategy seems to be working fairly successfully.
Let's put E4 just to give you an example. This is from the Jerusalem Post. So again, everything we're showing you is from Israeli media. After 11 days of fighting, Israel has received 9,000 missile damage claims, 6,500 buildings, 1,044 contents and equipment, 1,485 vehicles.
Their strategy was to take out those capabilities or degrade those capabilities early, and then that would enable them to be able to strike stronger blows using fewer rockets, missiles, and drones, et cetera. And based on what we can see in terms of the degrading capability of the rocket interception here from the Iron Dome, that strategy seems to be working fairly successfully.
Let's put E4 just to give you an example. This is from the Jerusalem Post. So again, everything we're showing you is from Israeli media. After 11 days of fighting, Israel has received 9,000 missile damage claims, 6,500 buildings, 1,044 contents equipment, 1,485 vehicles. So that is just the private claims now so far. That does not factor in the Hezbollah attack that just happened yesterday. Keep in mind also that this now means an opening of the front with Lebanon. Let's put E5 up there on the screen. I can talk a little bit over it. These are some of the strikes that were happening all across Lebanon in immediate retaliation. Immediate reports out of Israel, at least some, said that only about 50% or so of those rockets were even intercepted by the Iron Dome. Combine that with what
what's the percentage
in terms of the holes in the
also it's
some said that only about 50% or so of those rockets were even intercepted. A little bit over it. These are some of the strikes that were happening all across
don't look nothing
Lebanon
like what we saw Iran doing.
Immediate reports out of Israel, at least some, said that only about 50%
I wonder have the sirens
of those
started back.
rockets were even intercepted by the Iron Dome. Combine that with what Crystal just talked about in terms of the holes in the targeting system. So they are now being struck in a coordinated attack by Hezbollah and by Iran. Also, the fact is that clearly Hezbollah has much more strength than they let on. Remember the pager attack and the war and often bombing that they had launched. Now, what this shows is not only their strength, but the retaliation that Israel is now going for. And already they're basically doing the Israeli playbook, floating ethnic cleansing. It's right there on the, it's on the books.
Yeah, let's put E6 up on the screen. This is Amit Segal, who is a regime propagandist in Israel, closely tied to the government. And what he is saying is, quote, what needs to be done in Lebanon is very simple. Advance to Litani River and announce we will not leave until Hezbollah is disarmed. But this time, unlike the old security zone, not a single resident returns, aka ethnic cleansing. And at the same time, a severe and devastating strike on Dahia. So this is the, what is being floated, and very much, part of the greater Israel project. This would be, accomplishing some of their additional goals. I think Sagar made the point earlier, part of why we're getting that video out of Israel is being allowed out of the rocket attacks from Hezbollah is to try to justify exactly this type of military incursion and take over. And ultimately, what's being floated here is an ethnic cleansing removing all of the existing residents and not allowing them to return and de facto taking over more territory in the region. That is what they're trying to use this war as cover to do. So, they're taking damage. They're also using the opportunity in an attempt to further some of their greater regional goals.
Let's be clear.
Exactly.
They're getting their ass spanked.
Actually, literally, as we were taping, I can read the latest from Amit Segal and the IDF. The IDF spokesperson has now directed all residents of southern Lebanon to move beyond a border checkpoint, which is a river inside southern Lebanon. So, I mean, I don't know what the population is, probably a lot, right? And basically a evacuation order, aka a Gaza level 1. And as he floated there, we're going to tell him to leave.
Yeah, the sirens have been stopped.
Point earlier, part of why we're getting that video out of Israel's being allowed out of the rocket attacks from Hezbollah is to try to justify exactly this type of military incursion and take over. And ultimately, what's being floated here is an ethnic cleansing, removing all of the existing residents and not allowing them to return and de facto taking over more territory in the region.
No.
Now, what this shows is not only their strength, but the retaliation that Israel is now going for. And already, they're basically doing the Israeli playbook, floating ethnic cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there on the, it's on the books.
Yeah, let's put
about 50% or so of those rockets were even intercepted by the Iron Dome. Combine that with what Crystal just talked about in terms of the holes in the targeting system. So they are now being struck in a coordinated attack by Hezbollah and by Iran. Also, the fact is that clearly Hezbollah has much more strength than they let on. Remember the pager attack and the war and often bombing that they had launched. Now, what this shows is not only their strength, but the retaliation that Israel is now going for. And already, they're basically doing the Israeli playbook.
It's going to go up every day, Mrs. Tom.
It's right there on the, it's on the books.
Yeah, let's put E6 up on the screen. This is Amit Segal, who is a regime propagandist in Israel, closely tied to the government. And what he is saying is, quote, what needs to be done in Lebanon is very simple. Advance to Litani River and announce we will not leave until Hezbollah is disarmed. But this time, unlike the old security zone, not a single resident returns, aka ethnic cleansing. And at the same time, a severe and devastating strike on Dahia. So this is the, what is being floated and very much, part of the greater Israel project. This would be, accomplishing some of their additional goals. I think Sagar made the point earlier, part of why we're getting that video out of Israel's being allowed out of the rocket attacks from Hezbollah is to try to justify exactly this type of military incursion and take over. And ultimately, what's being floated here is an ethnic cleansing, removing all of the existing residents and not allowing them to return and de facto taking over more territory in the region. That is what they're trying to use this war as cover to do. So, they're taking damage. They're also using the opportunity in an attempt to further some of their greater regional goals.
Yeah, exactly. And you actually literally, as we were taping, I can read the latest from Amit Segal and the IDF. The IDF spokesperson has now directed all residents of southern Lebanon to move beyond a border checkpoint, which is a river inside southern Lebanon. So, I mean, I don't know what the population is, probably a lot, right? And basically a evacuation order, aka a Gaza level 1. And as he floated there, we're going to tell him to leave and that you're never going to come back until we dismantle all of Hezbollah. And actually that's basically an impossible task. And so that will mean that we'll just get to take over and de facto annex in another part of another country. And this is all happening under our auspices. It also shows you, this is something Professor Pape talked about their actual security interests. Now they're fighting a war with Iran. Now they're fighting a war with Hezbollah. They're fighting a war, or they technically have annexed like parts of Syria. They're literally on a 7-front war. What is the 8th front? It's the United States, the propaganda war against people like us. You are watching them expand in territory at this very moment. But also, they can't do any of this without the explicit backing of the United States. And you already see holes in their military interceptors. And the longer this goes on, leads you to what Professor Pape talked about, the escalation trap. And what they may not have interceptors, but what do they have? Nuclear weapons. They have ground forces, which can invade Lebanon. They can pressure the United States to continue going and, all in with our
Pressure
entire
the
military.
United
That's
States.
the
You
really
hear
scary
that?
part about
He
watching
slid
this.
that up in there.
No, that's
Talked about the escalation trap. And what they may not have interceptors, but what do they have? Nuclear weapons. They have ground forces, which can invade Lebanon. They can pressure the United States to continue going and, all in with our entire military. That's the really scary part about watching this happen.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the case. And I mean, with regard to Israel, right, the whole raison d'etre is to be a safe haven for Jews.
Yeah.
How safe is this haven right now? I mean, Shail has been talking about how many people in Israel have been leaving the country, have been, their level of out-migration is really significant because, yeah, you want to be in a bomb shelter every other month. You're having to huddle with your family in a bomb shelter and have sirens go off
Every
in
other
Tel
month.
Aviv and worry about your apartment building being struck or your car being destroyed or God forbid you losing your life or your children being threatened, etc. So of course, a lot of normal people who are not down with the hardcore religious end times and the Greater Israel Project and the whole bit, they're going to say, okay, we're out of here. We're going to go to greener pastures. So I think that is absolutely the case. But I also want to be really clear. The population of Israel is fully on board with this war. I mean, I said the polling here is, overwhelming opposition. In Israel, it's like 87% that are absolutely in favor of this war with Iran. Netanyahu is not an outlier. His government is not an outlier. They are representative of the wishes of the people of Israel. So, so this is the direction they're going to continue to push in. And I think it, once again demonstrates the divergence between the global goods or even the U.S. good and what the Israelis want, yet they seem to be very effective at getting their way.
Yep, so don't let this go unnoticed. We got a full-blown, possible ethnic cleansing watch right here happening again now in Lebanon. It's going to be crazy. It's going to tie them down. It's going to escalate stuff for us. They're going to lean even more heavily on us to give them more types of weapons, and who knows, and unleash what else, potentially on Iran as some sort of retaliation.
Has been
really pay
identified.
Yeah, and Hezbollah is surprisingly fierce.
Yeah.
I think for everybody. I did not know that they continued to maintain this level of capacity. And so yet another, factor that was not anticipated, because when you have Iran and Hezbollah striking inside Israel at the same time, that is going to overwhelm their defensive
because the narrative was, we already dealt with Hezbollah with the pager attack.
Right.
Finished. We're over. It's done. And so we don't have to wait out. We're just fighting with Iran. Oh, oops. All of a sudden, 100 rockets come over, and you're like, okay, this is not good. And turns out not nearly as depleted as we thought. I also think Hezbollah is not stupid. They knew they were under immense pressure from the Lebanese government to not do anything like this. But for them, they're like, look, if Iran gets wiped out, then we're going to get wiped out one way or the other. We're going to lose our benefactor, and or they're going to come and they're going to get us next. So it's existential. We got to fight to the death. So we have multiple people now fighting to the death on this front. And, don't underestimate them. Look at what they did in Syria. Real battle-tested force. A lot of them are willing to die. So, yeah, just another front that's open during the war. Okay, let's get to California and the drone threat.
Yep. Okay, so hold on. Y'all get the lights up. Hold on for a second. Let me reboot. I am moving kind of funny, y'all. I should have got my other device out, but I didn't. Y'all, can I get y'all to hit the like button for me, please? Let me see what's going on. Hold on. Piece of money, Lord. Hold on, y'all. I gotta send Scooter some money. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to send a Cash App.
Hey, come closer.
Come closer.
This is what nutritious food actually looks like when you have the best chef. Threats from Central and South American cartels.
What you scared
Law
for?
enforcement officials pushed the AG to make that move. Bondi has left her Washington, D.C. apartment for the safety and security of a D.C. military base after reported threats from Central and South American cartels.
What you
Bondi
scared
has left her
for?
Washington, D.C. apartment for the safety and security of a D.C. military base after reported threats from Central and South American cartels. Federal law enforcement officials pushed the AG to make that move in response to what they're calling an array of threats over the past few months.
All right.
Correspondent Allie Bradley joins us live. So, Allie, what more do we know about these threats?
Yeah, hey, Nicole. So the Attorney General leaving her private apartment in the city and moving to this military installation amid this escalating threats. Law enforcement calling her, it's basically
Private
telling her
apartment.
Response to what they're calling an array of threats over the past few months. Border correspondent Allie Bradley
I can't believe
joins us live. So, Allie,
she's
what
scared.
more do we know about these threats?
Yeah, hey, Nicole. So the Attorney General leaving her private apartment in the city and moving to this military installation amid this escalating threats. Law enforcement calling her, it's basically telling her, hey, because you're tied to these high-profile prosecutions, you're receiving more threats, and it's not safe for you right now. So what we can tell you is people familiar with the situation told the New York Times that threats intensified against Pam Bondi. Yeah, hey, Nicole. So the Attorney General leaving her private apartment in the city and moving to this military installation amid this escalating threats. Law enforcement calling her, it's basically telling her, hey, because you're tied to these high-profile prosecutions, you're receiving more threats, and it's not safe for you right now. So what we can tell you is people familiar with the situation told the New York Times that threats intensified against Pam Bondi amid the handling of the Epstein case and the capture and prosecution of former Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. New York Times that threats intensified against Pam Bondi amid the handling of the Epstein case and the capture and prosecution of former Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, who was taken into custody earlier this year on charges tied to narco-terrorism and international drug trafficking. Bondi has publicly accused Maduro of working with criminal networks linked to drug trafficking. She's now the latest Trump administration official to relocate to military housing near the Capitol because of security concerns. Now, we talked with a former U.S. Marshal who worked along the southern border, and he says the violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, which has been designated as a terrorist organization, working with criminal networks linked to narco-terrorism and international drug trafficking. Bondi has publicly accused Maduro of working with criminal networks linked to drug trafficking. She's now the latest Trump administration official to relocate to military housing near the Capitol because of security concerns. Now, we talked with a former U.S. Marshal who worked along the southern border, and he says the violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, which has been designated as a terrorist organization, is likely involved in these threats here. Take a listen.
They have to take it seriously, and I'm glad that they're taking the threats seriously. Now, when I hear that a lot of the complaints started coming in after the arrest of Maduro and bringing him to the United States, my first thoughts go back to the Tren de Aragua gang. TDA is a transnational gang, but they act like a cartel. The Tren de Aragua, no doubt, is working with the Sinaloa cartel. They're probably working with other cartels as well.
Well, why would Trump? Well, if
So
that's
some
the
of those
case,
threats
why
that
would he
she's
let
getting are tied to Nicolas
Hernandez
Maduro, tied to Venezuela.
out of
That's why
prison?
he's saying
Because he's
Nicaragua is
tied
likely
to
involved in these
those
threats.
gangs as well.
Cartel. The Franja now, no doubt, working with the Sinaloa cartel. They're probably working with the
Yeah.
other cartels as well.
Trump pardoned one of them.
So some of those
Last name
threats that she's
Hernandez.
getting are tied to Nicolas Maduro, tied to Venezuela. That's why he's saying Nicaragua is likely involved in these threats that she's facing right now. And while we don't know exactly where she's staying right now, we do know that it is an undisclosed, secure military installation that is in the Washington, D.C. area, Nicole.
All right, so Allie, how common is it for cabinet members to have to relocate like this?
It's not very common to see this happen, but we have seen several under Trump 2.0 make this move. So right now we know that others who have reportedly taken similar steps include Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. We know there was some controversy around her. Some said that she was living in the commandant's house. She said that that was not the case and she was paying for her own way there. Now, another one is Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Now, during Trump's first term, it's notable here to mention that the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, he did live on a military installation for security concerns as well. But that was, again, in the first Trump administration. We didn't necessarily see this under Biden, Nicole.
All right, Allie Bradley,
Scary
live
asses.
there along the border. Allie, thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Matoba?
Subscribe below and download our news.
Jinko Jacoba? You got him scared, pee in the bed. What in the world is going on? Why they running? Oh, let's hear from you. What in the world is going on?
Welcome back. I'm Austin Westfall. You may have heard that a U.S. plane went down in Iraq today. Here's what we know so far. U.S. CENTCOM saying they're aware of the loss of a U.S. KC-135 refueling aircraft. The incident, they say, occurred in friendly airspace during Operation Epic Fury, and rescue efforts are ongoing. 2 aircraft were involved in the incident.
Intensive things that we do in the Department of Defense. In-flight refueling. KC-135s are big, basically gas stations in the sky. And they're flying.
Stations.
Welcome back. I'm Austin Westfall. You may have heard that a U.S. plane went down in Iraq today. Here's what we know so far. U.S. CENTCOM saying they're aware of the loss of a U.S. KC-135 refueling aircraft. The incident, they say, occurred in friendly airspace during Operation Epic Fury.
So we took down our own.
Are ongoing.
We took down our own guy.
During Operation Epic Fury, and rescue efforts.
So we took that.
Did they say we took? Epic Fury, and rescue efforts are ongoing. 2 aircraft were involved in the incident. One of the aircraft went down in western Iraq, and the second landed safely. This was not due to hostile fire or friendly fire.
We took down our own jet.
Earlier today, retired Marine intelligence officer, national security analyst down in western Iraq, and the second landed safely. Friendly airspace during Operation Epic Fury, and rescue efforts are ongoing. 2 aircraft were involved in the incident. One of the aircraft went down in western Iraq, and the second landed safely. This was not due to hostile fire or friendly fire. CENTCOM sending that out earlier today. Retired Marine intelligence officer, national security analyst, and the host of the Strat podcast, Hal Kemper, here with me. They say not because of hostility, also not because of friendly fire. What are the other options? What could it be?
There are so many options. That is one of the most risk-intensive things that we do in the Department of Defense. In-flight refueling. KC-135s are big, basically gas stations in the sky. And they're flying at a commercial airspeed, and they link up. They have a hose. It's a special attachment on the back of the plane. It's a special training thing. I've been in planes and they've done air in-flight refueling thing, and you watch those guys do it. It is a very exacting science, and there's very little margin for error. And we have these things happen. We lose planes in in-flight refueling in regular peacetime operations and training and all sorts of stuff. So
this is the first time I've heard of it.
Over there are things that you will sometimes that will happen, and that's what happened there. There was no indication there was hostile fire, it was just probably something, you know, it could have been turbulence, it could have been a mechanical issue, it could have been somebody who was a little tired, a little off. There just could be a myriad of things that went wrong. We're really going to have to wait for the report because it would be just pure speculation. But what I will tell you is it is a very exacting exercise in doing those in-flight refueling, especially at night, you know, especially if there's any sorts of turbulent air that they're having to work through. And, I mean, those guys, let's just put it this way, they earn their pay every time they go out there, you know, because it is a very hazardous duty. So I just hope and pray that all the crew got out of the KC-135. And whatever the other aircraft is, they're not saying, but apparently they landed safely, so we'll find out more.
Rescue efforts are underway. Last we heard, we'll let the viewers know as soon as we hear something. A live look at Beirut on what is now Friday morning.
Hey, Mimi.
In Tel Aviv and in Lebanon. Hal, some big news today coming out of Iran. There were, of course, reports and speculation about Ali Khamenei's son, Mojtaba, being eventually selected as the new supreme leader. This is the first time I've had a chance to talk to you since it was officially announced that he is the new supreme leader. I'll just read some of what we've been hearing from him. He gave a written statement earlier today, and that written statement was read on Iranian state television. We have not seen his face, we haven't seen him on camera. He says that the Strait of Hormuz will remain basically closed as a tool of pressure. He also says that Iran's neighboring countries are being targeted because they contain U.S. bases. These are things that we've been analyzing and discussing on air for days now, but this is the first time we're hearing it in statement form from the new Ayatollah. Let's focus in on the fact that this was a written statement, and it was not read by him. It was read by Iranian state television. So we don't necessarily know his condition, do we, Hal? Last we heard, he may very well have been injured in one of the earlier rounds of U.S.-Israeli strikes.
It is a fascinating thing to see that global media are all asking for proof of life, which is the term used for kidnap victims. And basically what it is there's multiple reports that came out. It's widely been reported that he had some sort of facial injury, maybe a head injury, that he had a leg injury. At one point they were reporting maybe his foot was seriously injured, maybe crushed or something. And it wasn't clear if he was injured in the strikes that took out his father and those 49 others, or if there was an assassination attempt against him or strike that was near him at some other location. They were all being a little bit, it would kind of go back and forth. It was all a little bit vague as what happened. There are reports out there that he is in very serious condition. He's been in an ICU, and there's reports that he's been in a coma the whole time. And this is why everybody's looking at this statement. You know, and you could say, well, you know, it's a lot of speculation, things like that. Yes, but they just lost the supreme leader. The second supreme leader they've had in their entire history as this revolutionary, this theocratic autocracy that is the regime. He's only the third one. And this is they're in the middle of a war which threatens the very existence of the regime. And he doesn't appear on television. He doesn't do an audio thing. He does nothing. You have this written statement, maybe written by him, maybe written for him, and it was read by an anchor on the news. Everyone is very, very skeptical as to what his condition is, and is he actually able-bodied and able to be the supreme leader, or is he just somebody that they named as a figurehead and they're not quite sure what condition? He may have been. He had all these. They had all the potential on television. He doesn't do an audio thing. He does nothing. You have this written statement, maybe written by him, maybe written for him, and it was read by an anchor on the news.
So this is what, since this is Fox, y'all. So this is Fox Raw.
And is he
so now they're repeating everything that really is happening with Bibi Netanyahu. Y'all see how they do it?
They're not quite sure what condition. He may have been. He had all these. They had all the potential
They're repeating
alternates
the
for Ali
exact
Khamenei,
same thing
and they were all
about
dead,
BB
and he was
Net,
still
that what's
alive.
going on with BB
And he
Netanyahu,
doesn't appear
and then
on
today they
television. He
do this
doesn't do an
hollow
audio
whatever
thing. He does nothing.
on
You have
BB
this written
Netanyahu.
statement, maybe written by him, maybe written for him, and it was read by an anchor on the news.
See how they do?
And this is why everybody's looking at this statement, you know, and you could say, well, you know, it's a lot of speculation, things like that. Yes, but they just lost the supreme leader. The second supreme leader they've had in their entire history as this revolutionary, this theocratic autocracy that is a regime. He's only the third one. And they're in the middle of a war which threatens the very existence of the regime. And he doesn't appear on television. He doesn't do an audio thing. He does nothing. You have this written statement, maybe written by him, maybe written for him, and it was read by an anchor on the news. Everyone is very, very skeptical as to what his condition is.
Yeah,
and
it's fake
is he
Israel.
Actually,
they tore up from the
able-bodied
floor
and able
up.
to be the supreme leader, or is he just somebody that they named as a figurehead? And
Now
they're
they
not
talking
quite
about
sure what
unclassified.
condition he may have been that you had all these, they had all the potential alternates for Ali Khamenei, and they were all dead, and he was still alive, but may not have been in great shape. So we just don't know. That's the thing that really comes out of this.
We have been getting questions from the audience that includes Andrew in Port St. Lucie, who asks, how long can the United States keep attacking without officially declaring war?
I haven't been to the grocery store in
Cause they
over
faking
a
and
year,
shaking,
but I'm
they
eating healthier than
scared.
ever. Here's
So
how
I
know.
guess
Meal planning used to be
that they
such a
losing
nightmare.
is not a war. Y'all see how they play games? So cause they are losing, they haven't declared war. Then what the are we doing? Why have we lost 1,100 plus servicemen and women? If it's not a war, what the are we over there for? Why are we shooting if it's not a war? What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we striking if it's not? Cause BB said do it, and now we don't even know if he really alive. Why they trying to say he not alive? What we doing? Distract from the Epstein files. Exactly. It's all a distraction. Because he's saying the U.S. has not even declared it a war. Why are we striking?
Lucy, who asks, how long can the United States keep attacking without officially declaring war?
Well, potentially indefinitely until Congress takes action. There are provisions within
so
the
now it's
War
Congress'
Powers
fault.
Act where, and that was the bill that went up to the House and the Senate both, and it failed, which starts a clock ticking on 60 days, and then there's an option to extend conflict
Congress
and combat
didn't.
operations for
He didn't
30
go
days
through
beyond
Congress.
it.
What are we talking about?
And that's to limit a president from doing these sorts of things without a congressional declaration of war.
Sir, do you think we crazy? We know that he didn't go through the proper steps. So why does Congress need to have an opinion about it? Give an okay when they did not approve it. What are you talking about? Now y'all playing in our face again. Now it's Congress' fault. Now we waiting on Congress.
Not have been in great shape. So we just don't know. That's the thing that really comes out of this.
We have been getting questions from the audience that includes Andrew in Port St. Lucie, who asks, how long can the United States keep attacking without officially declaring war?
This is crazy.
Well, potentially indefinitely until Congress takes action. There are provisions within the War Powers Act where, and that was the bill that went up to the House and the Senate both, and it failed, which starts a clock ticking on 60 days, and then there's an option to extend conflict or combat operations for another 30 days beyond it. and that's to limit a president from doing these sorts of things without a congressional declaration of war. In the Constitution, the Congress, not the president, but Congress is supposed to declare war.
Congress.
With all of that said, the Korean War wasn't a declared war. The war in Vietnam wasn't a declared war. The war on terror, Iraq and
Had
Afghanistan
the biggest
were declared war.
little
Somalia wasn't a
pallywhacker.
declared war. Our incursions in the 80s, in the Balkans, in Bosnia, and then I was going to say also,
Hi, Pinker.
everything that we've done around
Hey,
the world,
everybody
in a
that
variety
I
of
miss
different things,
dictators
those are
don't
declared wars.
ask.
We have not
Okay,
declared a war
then
since
why
World
not
War
declare
II.
it war?
So the answer
Since he
is
want
it
to
could
be
go
a
on for a very long
dictator,
time. If
go
we look at
all
Afghanistan,
out, declare it war.
20 years,
But now you want to rely on
this could go
Congress
on
because you
without a declaration
ussy.
of war.
You
But usually
ussy.
Congress, they
Yeah.
usually, this is the first time I've ever seen where there was nothing. There was an authorization for use of
Ussy.
that they used for Afghanistan.
Thank
they
you
used
for the
Iraq,
lucky
and then
clover.
we kind of extended it and used it in Libya. I thought that was kind of a rather
Yeah,
a bit
thank
of a
you.
leap doing that. So that went on for
Press
a very long time.
F. Oh,
And
these
then, of course,
they
you
must
had
be
a
some
UN
new ones.
Security Council mandate for Korea because the Soviet Union stormed out of the room during the proceedings. Then they took a vote, and the Soviet Union wasn't there.
Thank you
And that's
for the
last time the
first
Soviet Union ran
hour.
out of the Security Council during the meeting. So, but that was a UN mandate.
You know, we have this other question, Rod, sending this in. What does total victory look like for the U.S.? Is the answer to this question gaining any more clarity as the days tick by, Hal?
It's interesting what total victory is. I've heard a lot of rhetorical flourish. Obviously, we've had this discussion about unconditional surrender, and President Trump talked about unconditional surrender. And last time that happened was World War II. You're going back to talk about Japan and Germany, the unconditional surrender, and specifically Japan. That was a major condition, or that was the condition. But we haven't had that in more recent wars. And then the White House, the press secretary, Karen Leavitt, kind of made it a little bit interesting. She said the president will determine when they have unconditionally surrendered or when it's unconditionally
So he
surrendered.
don't know.
And that usually for surrender, by definition, it's a two-part action, and the other party has to surrender. It's an action they have to take. So that was a little confusing. And then like total victory, what does that mean? I would say for this one, victory would be if there was a pro-Western regime in place, the Revolutionary Guard Corps, the besieged, all those components, those pillars that keep the regime in power are gone, and you have a pro-Western Iran, kind of like you had, possibly without the Shah, but what you had before 1979, where they were one of our closest allies working with us, and they were very good neighbors to all the other countries in the Middle East. That would, to me, would be total victory.
So we continue to track the battlefields, and one measure of the U.S.'s progress in this war, if you will, and something that Secretary Hegseth has been talking about and something that President Trump has been talking about, is the amount of targets that they've struck since the fighting began. Russell in Memphis asks this: what effect has the reduction in Iranian force had to date? I think Russell's getting at a question that a lot of us have, which is a lot of targets have been struck, Hal, and what kind of tangible impact has that reduction in Iranian hardware had on the actual fight?
It's an excellent question to ask, and the challenge is, we have a lot of strike missions. We have missiles that have gone in there. We got aircraft that are dropping munitions, and we have other things. We have HIMARS that actually are firing over the water and into Iran, which are missiles, but they're more tactical missiles. And so we have a lot of different ordnance that's doing a lot of different things there. And I think last night they were talking about we've hit over 5,000 targets. That's a very impressive target list.
Yeah, but some of them was fake.
Out of targets. I've heard the
they were
president say
murals.
that, and I would say that they're probably on the target list. We're running down to some of the
Thank
lesser
you,
priority targets. But what we did was we went after the Air Force and the Navy. That's two ways that a nation state, for them, can project power. They can't really project power with their land army, and they're not going to they're not going to try and invade any of their neighbors with their land army, especially if they have no air support. So they took out the Navy, so that takes out their maritime component, the maritime threat component. Took out the Air Force, that limits them there. And now you're seeing what they're going after are these two things like the Revolutionary Guard Corps and the besieged. One thing I will say though, like with anything, they're going after drones and ballistic missiles. That's where you're seeing those big numbers in many ways. It's taking out the launchers for both. It's taking out wherever those facilities are to try and reduce that. Basically, we're trying to clip the wings of Iran and its ability to export violence and terrorism and threaten its neighbors. And so that's when you're saying how many, when you say how have we done? I think we've actually, from a targeting military perspective, we've done pretty well. I think we have a lot more to do. And I would just give you a point that the Revolutionary Guard Corps has somewhere between 1,500 and 5,000 small boats, smaller boats or smaller ships that they operate in the, mostly in the Persian Gulf, around the Strait of Hormuz, and all of them can lay mines. We're trying to stop sea mines from being laid. That's a lot more targets that we have to prosecute.
We have been pretty much tracking anything that we've been hearing out of the Israeli government in recent days. Prime Minister Netanyahu said today, quote, "We are creating the optimal conditions for the fall of the regime, and the U.S.-Israeli strikes against the country are an effort to give Iranians, quote, the space needed to go out to the streets." So Hal, have we seen anything from any group showing the potential of an internal effort to oust the regime?
It's interesting. There have been some stuff. It's almost anecdotal that there have been some protests, not in Tehran, but some other areas. There have been that. Now, one of the problems is like Tehran right now, the intensity of the air operations is so great. A lot of people are just afraid. It's not going out in the streets. They're literally afraid to live in Tehran. There's been a huge displacement of residents from Tehran just trying to get away from the city because they're afraid of all the air operations. And they're like anybody else. They've seen what happened in the Gaza Strip, and so they're afraid that could happen in Tehran and other major cities. And certainly that's a basic human fear. But if the besieged, that paramilitary militia that was so instrumental in the regime, basically slaughtering protesters in December and January, if the Revolutionary Guard Corps, if they can be severely degraded, if they can get to the point where they can't deploy their units, their forces to oppose those who come out in the street, once that's been accomplished, then I think if the protesters got on the streets and they weren't there, they could overrun government buildings, they could overrun government institutions, they could seize them, they could seize power. And I think at that point, there's going to be a lot of members of the secular military, the Artish, and also the secular police forces, which will have to make a decision. Do we stick with the regime or do we stick with the Iranian people? And I think most of them will say, let's go with the Iranian people. And at that point, I think you'll see massive change. But it's going to take a bit before everybody feels, number one, before a lot of the bombing's done, where they feel safe just to be out on the streets, period, because they're afraid of what could happen. And then number two, safe that they can go out there and express themselves without being taken under fire by the besieged paramilitary, militia, and the Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Hal Kemper is a retired Marine intelligence officer, national security analyst, and the host of the Strat podcast. You can listen to Strat anywhere podcasts are available. Thanks, Hal.
Okay, I got one more before let me hear something about with Carlson before I go out into Candace. Hey, Reflections. Hey, thank you. Details 1. What's the Old Dominion shooting? Well, maybe 2. Let's go. 1 unalive and 2 injured. Is this something that I missed today?
I'm Andy Mack. Let's turn our attention to what happened earlier today at that deadly shooting in Virginia on the campus of Old Dominion. We are learning new information about the exact identity of this individual who was previously charged, put in prison for connections and supporting ISIS. I do want to put up some of these images here from earlier today. They're on the ground as we are learning more information. The AP is seeing a gunman and 1 victim are dead. 2 others are hurt after a shooting at Old Dominion University on Thursday morning. Let's continue here on Live Now from Fox and bring into the conversation on the ground in the immediate aftermath of this. Marquisa Jackson, Wavy News, Fox 43 there on the ground in Virginia. What can you tell me? What's the scene look like at this moment?
Hey, Andy. Yes, I'm here right outside of the Welcome Center for Old Dominion University, and this is what the scene looks like currently. Still a large police presence here, obviously, and will be for the coming hours, coming days, really. So right here, this is the entrance to Old Dominion University. You can see police here behind me. Still some police tape up, Andy. Yes, I'm here right outside of the Welcome Center for Old Dominion University, and this is what the scene looks like currently. Still a large police presence here, obviously, and will be for the coming hours, coming days, really. So right here, this is the entrance to Old Dominion
Reflections. Thank
University.
you.
You can see police here behind me. Still some police tape up back there. A very dark day on this campus, a very gloomy day on this campus. We got that information about the shooter just moments before we went on air for our 6 p.m. newscast, and we were able to actually pull the court documents from the 2016 incident where that person, Mohammed Dola, was actually charged with assisting ISIS with materials. So he was charged in that case and sent to prison and served the sentence and was released in December of 2024. We're working to learn more about exactly what led up to that release, but we also were able to find a local address for the shooter. It's actually just a couple of blocks away from where we are now on Old Dominion University's campus. A lot of people just shocked that something like this has taken place.
Please hit the like button.
Just the shock of it all, and that very much is,
here we go.
Is still what is being felt here.
You want to do more?
Still in the area, just assessing things. But right now on the ground, it's just been law enforcement. We've had a series of press conferences today. We've been able to talk with students who were in the hall or nearby it when this all happened. So we've been able to get that aspect of it all. And right now, it's just a lot of questions as to what led up to this happening here at this campus.
And exactly the motivation of this individual, as potentially has a background as that Army National Guardsman. And we know that the ROTC might have been involved. We know that potentially one of them neutralized the suspect. Can you speak to it for a national audience? How prevalent is the ROTC?
Y'all, there go my girl Nika. Nika. She's from the Mo 3 sector. She is dear and near. It's my niece. Thank you for the membership. I greatly appreciate it. Mwah. Yes, indeed. Let me back that thing up. I had to stop for Nickelbookie. I had to stop for my girl. Let's go. So there is, and I say he black, but he's ISIS. So why here lately, the terrorist, right? The terrorist is now showing that he is, well, the last one in Austin was the darker shade of the 50 Shades of Brown. And this guy here is, ooh, Barbie, she done blew my wig back. Pshoo. Thank you, Nika. Thank you. Thank you, Nika. Thank you. Go, Nika. Go, Nika. Thank you, precious. I love these colors. Orange and blue. Orange and blue. We love you. Let's go. Thank you. So, listen, Austin. Say it wasn't no darker shades of the 50 Shades of Grey. Now, all of a sudden, oh boy, in Austin was the darker shades of the 50 Shades of Brown. And so is this guy. I'm going to have to pull up his picture. He is a darker shade of the 50 Shades of Brown. Now, you know I'm going to pick up on all this type of stuff. So I'm just throwing that out there. At first, it wasn't nobody of the 50 Shades. And now it is. We got to stay woke. Let's go.
Now it's just a lot of questions.
Go to my
of this happening here at this campus.
And exactly the motivation
Profile.
of this
It'll tell you what type of channel it is.
potentially has a background as that Army National Guardsman. And we know that the ROTC might have been involved. We know that potentially one of them neutralized the suspect. Can you speak to it for our national audience? How prevalent is the ROTC in association with the military there on the campus of Old Dominion? Is it a strong community, a strong ROTC community there?
Absolutely, a very strong ROTC community. I mean, you talk about where we are here in Norfolk, Virginia, and relations with the Navy and things like that. So very strong community here. We saw an outpour of support on social media of past ROTC.
Yeah, we stay woke. Absolutely.
Program, just reaching out, seeing how they can support in any way. Because, like you said, it was those ROTC students that ultimately subdued that gunman and probably saved a lot of lives, them jumping into action so bravely. So a very, very tight-knit community here with the ROTC folks at Old Dominion University.
Yeah, that's so very true, and obviously we are putting up a post from Dan Driscoll there talking about this. He's the Secretary of the Army, saying he's deeply saddened to hear about the shooting. 2 of our Army personnel who were injured. I'm praying for them and all those impacted by the event. And we do know that this individual was out on that supervised release after spending 11 years. What other questions do you have, Markeisha? Because I imagine the community is wondering why this individual was out, why this individual wasn't alerted prior by the FBI, because they had ties. They had actually met with ISIS individuals in Africa on a visit there. What other questions do you have?
Absolutely. Just showing more of the scene here. And I think the biggest question, like you said, is just how was this person out and now able to carry out such an attack as this? Now, when we had a 5:30 press conference with folks from the FBI, a lot of people are asking, did he have help? And the FBI is trying to figure that out as well. Specifically, they said they want to know who was the money person in this, who was supplying him. I would assume money for the weapon use, ammo, and things like that. So that's the biggest question, is how was this person allowed to be out, allowed to be free? Like I said, we were able to find an address for him that puts him in very close proximity to this campus. So a lot of questions about how were all these things allowed to happen, and seemingly no one know about it, for lack of better words.
Yeah, that is so very true. Lots of questions left unanswered.
Hold on.
Have you guys seen the girls that are drawing all over their shirt with a Sharpie?
Oh, we can't be watching no bras and itties. Big old ibbies. Hold on. They trying to show bras, trying to show some cleavage. They think they slick. Oh, DU. Hold on. Why is it not pulling up? I'm trying to show y'all who it is. Hold on. Radicalized. That's what they said about that other guy. And the guy in Texas a couple of days ago. I'm trying to get it. Is this it? I'm trying to get, there you go.
No, breaking news.
I tried to go back to my dorm. Everything was shut off.
Us were told to leave our stuff. We got outside to the parking garage, and that's when we got told that there's an active shooter.
Breaking news right now is for tragedy in our community. 1 victim is dead, 2 others injured after a shooting on the campus of Old Dominion University.
Students are sharing their fear and shock as police report the gunman in the shooting is dead.
No matter whether it's on Bagnell Road at 1 o'clock in the morning or in Constant Hall,
If somebody's dead, that person's somebody's baby.
First responders and Norfolk investigators breaking down what happened this morning while the ODU community remains rattled.
And just into the News 3 newsroom, this is an incredibly fluid situation. We now
I need for y'all to hit the like button.
In today's shooting at Old Dominion
I don't want to
University,
stop, but you know I
and we
will.
have a look at some of the chaotic moments following the shooting at the university's business school in Constant Hall.
So CBS News says law enforcement sources say Mohammed Baylor Jallo, a former Virginia National Guardsman, is the shooter. They say Jallo grew radicalized while serving in the Virginia National Guard between 2009 and 2015. We also have learned from our partners at CBS News that he pleaded guilty in October of 2016 to attempting to provide material support to ISIS and spent several years in federal prison before being released in December of 24.
We just got this in, and I'm going to read some of this off of my laptop that is reportable, that according to CBS sources, the subject walked into Constant Hall and asked if this was an ROTC class, and when someone responded that it was, the subject opened fire, fatally injuring the class instructor, who was a retired Army officer.
They're also saying that the two other people who were injured in the shooting and their condition, they're working to get now to our partners here in Norfolk Hudson Terrier. We're working to get updates about how the two people who were injured are doing. Again, the gunman who is dead has been identified as Mohammed Baylor Jallo, born in 1989. As we've said, one victim has died, two others are injured.
Thank you, Nika.
Cook Unity, which unites my
I
craving
just
for
gave you
succulent
a
meals
stick.
with my desire not to cook them myself. Cook Unity is...
Oh, it's gone. I thought they was going to show his face. Wait, what? See, I don't know how to trust this, cause
who was a retired Army officer.
I don't know.
They're also saying that the two other people who were injured in the shooting and their condition, they're working to get now to our partners here in Norfolk Hudson Terrier. We're working to get updates about how the two people who were injured are doing. Again, the gunman who is dead has been identified.
Yeah, these are crisis actors. Hold on. Hold on. RO student. And before, they said he was locked up. No. Where's his picture? I know it's one out there because I see it. So, but why the news people not putting his face out there?
A breaking update. We've just learned the name of the person who died in the terror attack at Old Dominion University today. He was Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw.
Brandon, Lieutenant Colonel. Now, are you a crisis actor, sir? Are we gonna have to research you and see if so you was a part of something before ISIS? Oh no, they losing that war. It's a pattern, y'all. We got to stay woke. We have to stay woke. They just told us, yeah, hold on. It's like he should be, his face should be all over everything, right? Yeah, and he's been a part of a crisis before. Gotta stay woke. Gotta stay woke. Must stay woke.
Today, he was Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw. You see him on your screen. Voorhees University identified him in a social media post, sending condolences.
Monty, it got a bad smell to it. Please do not say nothing about no bad smell. I done been in the Mo 3 sector, boo-boo, dealing with funky puss for almost a week now. Bad smell. is a tyrant in the Mo3 sector who has a bad ass puss smell. The old boy said, I got to go. I got to go. I got to go. Hey, I got to go. I got to go. Midnight train home, baby, because this puss right here has a bad smell to it. Oh my God, Monte. And he said it was dry. He didn't even want to spit started. She had to pour a whole bottle of DE0 to it, baby. Please don't say nothing about no bad smell to it, baby. Yeah, I say, baby, boom. You know it's bad when a dude don't want to spit started. He said, shit. That spit couldn't do shit for it. I mean, trying to spit start it. Saying, God damn. Hey, be rich. Oh, Lord, let me go, because I'm finna get started. It's getting hot in here. Pinch your nose. He about to go in. Pinch your nose. He about to go in. Baby. And they be trying to call me, oh, baby, these problems you young folks having. I ain't never had, I don't think I have ever had any interactions where a dude done said my shit. Sandpaper coochie oochie. Puss. Baby, what type of puss is this? You mean I traveled for this shit? I got to go. I got to go. Home, yeah. Shit. A midnight train home. It was so bad. I'm just saying, it took me there. It took me there because you said it had a smell to it. I am so sorry. I got all off the seriousness. Cause Monty, big head ass, talking about it got that smell. Ooh, that smell. Ooh, Lord. And our house was filthy. Oh, baby. Don't make me go back. Y'all know I ain't rap too tight. Y'all know Auntie P will go in. Okay? Game over. Shit. Couldn't even spit started. Did you, babe? What the fuck? What? He should have known. He should have landfill ass puss. Y'all better get y'all some oil of oregano. Get them smells and tells this shit up. Yeah, baby, something ain't right. You need to detox. Sit your ass in the tub. Take them bubbles out. You better get you some magnesium salt and sit. Nope, not that Epstein shit. Sit your ass down. Sit down. How you know how you do the dog? Sit. Treat her like she a damn dog. Sit your ass down. If you, girl, who didn't teach you how to clean that out? I bet you still douching. If you don't sit your funky ass down, get you some. You better take two of them. Huh? I done got derailed. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me get back on track. Get you some olive oregano, and it has to have the black seed in here. Yeah, screenshot this. Now, you know I ain't particularly fond of her, but you know I will help folk get their shit together. Y'all know I ain't no good. Let me give you some night. Yeah, sit your ass in the bath. Do I need to show her what type of magnesium flakes to sit that ass down? Hell yeah, let me show her. So she can't say I don't like her and I ain't never been helpful to her. I'm telling her what she needs to do to get that smell together. Okay? Funky piss ass. Set your piss puss. Pussy. Puss. Yeah. Funky ass. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to be nice and laugh at the same time. Musty ass. I don't even know if it was musty. He said it was trash. All my feelings would be hurt if a dude ever told me my shit was trash. Baby boom. Nope. Never in my life. Never in my... Put some vinegar in there. I called earlier today, I called her dragon puss. She in denial. Y'all, her feelings hurt because her funky ass done been exposed. Get you some, let me, so I can show y'all. Yes, yeah. So she can't say I ain't never tried to help that funky ass. Get you some magnesium flakes. Not salt, it's magnesium flakes. Sit that ass in some hot ass water. Okay? Don't you put no bubble shit. You use see that puss start. That's what he was trying. Like spit started. Listen, girl. Yeah, don't ever say Auntie Fee ain't done nothing nice for you. Get you some magnesium flakes for the bath and sit and soak. Don't get no scent or nut tootsie trash. Shay. Y'all, please don't make me clown no more than I'm clowning now. Oh, but it's Monty's fault. Big head ass. Always saying something crazy. Messed around and said smell. Ooh, wait. Ain't it sad, y'all? Somebody used the word smell and you immediately think about that puss. That funky monkey.
To his family and the ODU community. 2 other people were...
That funky monkey. Monkey. That funky monkey. Yeah, a funky monkey at 40-something years old. And you had a nerve to have somebody come visit you and you know your shit is funky. But shit, you know, people like that, they used to the smell. They don't see nothing wrong. You know what I mean? That monster, boy, that's Monty. I thought you had monster coochie. Boy. What you say, Monty? That coochie will start a fire. Now, that's a fire. That's a fire in an empty room. Now that's a fire. Baby! Y'all, I'm sorry. She need to go. Go lay down. She need to go lay down for a few days. Go lay down. Lay that funky ass down. Go lay down. Sit your funky ass down. Oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all. Please forgive me. Yeah, funky ass. A puss. Dragon puss. Open your mouth and the fire come out. Open your legs, I'm sorry, and the fire come out. Woo. Woo, shit. And you went in? He went in raw? Oh, Lord, the devil is a lie. His mama need to whoop his ass. I don't care how old he is. You went in that, and you know that shit was funky because you tried to spit started and the shit was funky like that. I'm going to beat your ass. I don't want no funky ass grand. Oh, hell no. You'll never be able to get that smell up out of my room. Get out. Joe, it's good to laugh. Baby, it was all serious until Monty came in here with that smelly funky shit. Funky monkey. A toe back cookie. Toe back coochie, Monty. I'ma get you. Where is Specs? Boy, cause right now Specs will be BTA and in the comment section talking about Auntie Fee Belt. She need her ass whooped. She need a mama that really love her and cared for her and taught her some things or two in life and a puss care. Yeah, it's important that you teach. Yo, I bet you she's still douching. Yeah, not knowing that she taking all the good bacteria up out that wall. So listen. Oh, don't make me go up in my medicine cabinet, baby, because you know I got a whole bunch up in there, and I can show her a few things to make sure that puss is well. Yeah, it'll be well received. Ooh, how good you smell. While we Little Red Riding Hood up and down the street. Yeah, he up here running from you. Yeah, puss. You got the wolf is running from the puss. Oh my God, how funny. And then the went outside mad, pouting and shit, cause he didn't want to screw her. I want some D. I want some D. Give me some D. I want some D. He was like, oh, no, I'm tired. I got a headache. You can't keep turning me down. I said, shit, I'm trying to get home. And now she running up and down the YouTube street trying to act like somebody is bitter. Now, yeah, you bitter, all right. You bit or bitter. It is tart and it is bitter. Sweetie, don't run past the bathroom. Sit that ass down. Yeah, don't run past the bathroom. Put some soap and water to that. Sit your ass down and soak. You bet. That water ain't hot enough. Let that shit out and put nothing but hot water. What did ATP tell you to put in that water? Some magnesium flakes. Soak that shit out. Yes, sir. And what she say? Put a little, what is it? What's the other? Apple cider vinegar. Make sure it has the in there. This is some things that your mother should have told you. thinking it's good for the pickle. Oh, yeah. Now, he said, now, hold up, Monty. Oh, no, Joe. Was that you, Joe? Joe, you coming out the closet? something to say. She thought it needed to be good for the pickle too. But now, hold up now. Now he did say her mouth game was good game. Now he said, yeah, everything else was spelling, but that mouthpiece. Now he said that mouthpiece is undeniable. Okay, but hell, how many of y'all just gonna allow it to just be the mouthpiece? Y'all gonna wanna run up in that thing now. That mouthpiece is only, it has to be exceptional for that to be the end all. And baby, let me tell you something. If a dude only wants you for your mouthpiece, you don't ever get a break. You don't ever get a break. He don't ever say, I'm going down. I'm going down. Oh, shit. You don't ever get a chance to lay back and chill and let him go to work. Oh, no, that ain't gonna work. That is not gonna work. If all you have to offer is a mouthpiece. It ain't enough pickle sucking and biting in the world that a man is just gonna only want that. That means your shit is trash. Can I get some trash cans in the in the comment section? Y'all need to give me some trash cans, cause he said that puss was trash. Can I see some trash cans in the comment section for the homie over there? Yeah, that bad built, bad talking, hateful ass trauma. Try to put all her trauma. Give me some trash. Yeah, what we doing? I'ma get back to it. Hell, we need some trash. Y'all don't want to do her like that, just in case she over here peeping. Yeah, heifer tried me before. I tried to ram. Woo, I tried to give a good old treatment. You better learn who you want to play with, boo-boo, because I'm going to take you down off up in there with, yeah, it's so far. Hold on, I'm going to get some trash cans. I need to know, let the helper know that he said your shit was garbage. Garbage and funky. Garbage and funky. Yeah, hold up. Yeah. Right here. Yeah, that's what you mean to him. Right there. Garbage. Hey, Samantha. Garbage. Oh, my feelings would be so hurt. Y'all, I could only imagine. I don't have no experience in that area. But Lord, I think I would have to go find a sister who had some coochie lesson classes. Teach me, how to clean. Well, here, girl. There you go. Right here. This is the all over oregano. Yeah. Right here. And then pass the all of oregano. No showers. You sit your ass down. And if the water get too dirty, let it out. Clean the tub out. And put some more magnesium flakes in there and soak that ass. Funky ass. And had a nerve to have something to say about everything and everybody. And you can't get a man to love you and want you if you don't sit your funky monkey a dragon puss ass down. Okay? Y'all, my thing moving slow. Okay? Yeah. That one was free. I gave you that info for free. I'm trying to get to a background, but it won't let me. It's mad at me for having, for telling her the truth. It's mad at me for telling her the truth. Yeah, somebody got to tell her. Somebody had, oh, just even thinking about it. Yeah, let me look at you with the big eyes. Y'all, I'm sorry. It's Monty's fault. Let me get back. I was supposed to be looking up something. Boy, let me get back. Let me get back. Let me get a background and I'm gonna get back. This shit. Y'all, please hit the like button. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What time is it? Because I'll be trying to say it's time to go. Wanna I be saying that? Let me take this light down. It won't get background, y'all. It blind. You'll take that blame, Monty. That's what's up. That's what's up. We ain't had a good old laugh in a minute, have we? Woo, that was funky. What? Now, let's go. Y'all ready to get back on target? Lord, that was funky. Stop playing. It's just doing what it want to do, y'all. We did tonight. Yeah, that was funky, wasn't it? Ooh, we Lord in heaven above. I just don't know how I could handle a man telling me no shit like that. Oh my God. Go sit down and soak. Oh my God. And it ain't good. Oh my God. Oh my God. How can you be a freak and you don't have good puss? That just, how can you be a nympho and it ain't good? I just don't know how to process that. A dude telling you don't move, just don't throw your hip, don't put none, don't none at me, don't give me shit. Just let me try to get this on out the way. And he tried to tell, don't you lift your legs, put the I can't put my legs on around your neck. If you don't put your legs down. Trying to put your feet on my neck. Girl, if you don't just, what? Let's go. I think hold on, y'all. I am so sorry. Trying to put your legs around a nigga neck and that puss is the death. That shit is the death. Oh my God. What was that? I'm so sorry, y'all. Let's go. Play.
It was Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw.
Oh my God.
On your screen, Voorhees University identified him in a social media post sending condolence. A breaking update: we've just learned the name of the person who died in the terror attack at Old Dominion University today. He was Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw. You see him on your screen. Voorhees University identified him in a social
I have
media
never
post
ever encountered that problem. Nope. I don't know nothing about that.
Two other people
I don't know nothing about that. She had a warning sign on the door. Talking about beware of the smell. Monty, stop it. Beware of foul smells. Enter the cat room at your own expense. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Y'all, it was a press conference. Now my old crazy, but can't find the press conference. Hold on. Enter at your own risk. Shit. What's that COVID-19 mask? Put that shit over your nose. You better. Where's the press conference, y'all? Now don't want to act right. It's trying to put me on the punishment.
No,
we heard like
breaking news.
Where's the press conference? Lord. I was trying. Here we go.
How it was an act of terrorism. I can tell you that we have confirmed reports that prior.
There you go. I'm so sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get started. I'd like to introduce to you Dominique Evans. She's the special agent in charge of the FBI Norfolk Field Office.
She said, "What's that smell? Let her smell her Make her stick her own finger in there and smell it. That's how you do them dogs, make them smell their own shit. What's that? Put a finger in there and put it up under her nose. If she move her head, say, ooh, what is that? Run. Run, Forrest, run. But get some earwax. If she turn her nose up to her own cuckoo smell, oh, hell no. Do a smell test. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Let's go, y'all. Oh, my goodness.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for
Be
joining
rich.
us. We're going to get started.
Oh, my goodness. I can't play with y'all today.
She's the special agent in charge of the FBI Norfolk Field Office.
Oh, my goodness. This don't make no sense.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Dominique Evans. That's D-O-M-I-N-I-Q-U-E. Last name Evans, E-V-A-N-S. I'm the special agent in charge of the Norfolk FBI Field Office. Today, the FBI responded, along with our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners, Old Dominion University.
You want me to go close to that ass? Back there? Oh, hell no.
What we know now is there's one deceased victim and 2 at the hospital. The ANS, the special agent in charge of the Norfolk FBI Field Office.
Y'all ain't no good.
Today, the FBI responded, along with our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners, to Old Dominion University. This was based on reports of an active shooter. What we know now is there's one deceased victim and 2 at the hospital. We are saddened by this tragedy in our community. The FBI mourns the loss of life in this abhorrent tragedy and violence. I'd like to acknowledge the students who showed extreme bravery and courage by containing the containing the shooter and stopping further loss of life. The FBI is now the lead investigative agency investigating this as an act of terrorism. The shooter has been identified as Mohammed Baylor Jallow. In 2016, Jallow was arrested and pled guilty for attempting to provide material support to ISIL, now known as ISIS. Jallow was sentenced to prison in October 2017 and was released from prison in 2024. FBI Norfolk's Joint Terrorism Task Force and our evidence response team responded to the scene and will continue to have a physical presence here at the scene as we process the evidence. Additionally, we are conducting other investigative steps into Jallow and the specifics of the shooting. We have dedicated analytical and tactical support. We are aiding in this investigation throughout the entire time. We will continue to work alongside of our partners and those in the community to find answers. The FBI continues to ask for the public's help and providing any information that could lead us in resolving this investigation, and we remind the public that any detail, no matter how small, could be useful. A collection of those small details may help paint a complete picture. We ask that the public submit their tips to www.fbi.gov/ODU shooting. Do you have any questions for me or for my partners here? Yes?
With so little details that we know about this shooting so far, how are we able to confirm that this was an act of terrorism?
How it was an act of terrorism? I can tell you that we have confirmed reports that prior to him conducting this act of terrorism, he shouted or stated Allah Akbar, and he was formerly a subject of an FBI investigation in material supporting terrorism.
Agent, were there explosives in his car?
We have no information about any explosives in his car or anywhere else at this time.
Did he have one weapon?
As far as I know, we only know of one weapon that he had on his person at this time.
What kind of aid was he giving to ISIL?
He wanted to conduct a terrorist attack similar to that in Fort Hood, Texas.
Oh, Fort Hood. Okay.
Is there any mention of the war to Iran?
None whatsoever.
How was he deceased?
There were students that were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know how else to say it, but they basically were able to terminate the threat.
The student took him out?
He was not shot.
He shot 3 people?
Correct. We have information that he shot 3 people.
Yeah, that don't sound right.
So I don't have any information at this time about the specific
who unalived him,
life-threatening or not otherwise to car or anywhere else at this time.
Did he have one weapon?
As far as I know, we only know of one weapon that he had on his person at this time.
What kind of aid was he giving to ISIL at this time?
He wanted to conduct a terrorist attack similar to that in Fort Hood, Texas.
Is there any mention of the war to Iran?
None whatsoever.
How was he deceased?
There were students that were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know how else to say it, but they basically were able to terminate the threat.
So he was not shot?
With their hands? He was not shot. Hold on.
Correct. We have information that he.
How was he deceased?
There were students that were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know how else to say it, but they basically were able to terminate the threat.
So he was not shot?
He was not shot.
He shot 3 people?
Correct. We have information that he shot 3 people.
So somebody choked him out.
So I don't have any information at this time about the specific, life-threatening or not otherwise to the 2 that are still alive. But at this time, we're respecting the victims of the shooting. That includes not only the ones that were shot, but all of the people here at ODU I consider our victims. This is a tragic event, and I do ask that you look at that. You're all part of our community too. And so I just want to throw that out there too, to give the respect and the time needed to provide that additional information about the victims.
You say he was released in 2024?
Correct.
What was your intelligence level, I think, since
So I don't have any of that information right now. That's because this is an ongoing investigation. After we learned of his name, we confirmed that he was formerly subject of material support to terrorism investigation and obviously was sentenced for that. But I don't have any information indicating that he was...
Now, why was he not taken out of the country? Why was he still... And he was from foreign country. But then you got some people that are here legally that y'all have deployed to foreign places. Yeah.
Known or an ongoing problem.
One more time. Give me more specifics on how he was subdued.
Yeah, the brave ROTC members in that room subdued him. And if not for them, I'm not sure, what else he may have done. But that's exactly, they confronted him and they
This kind of
subdued him,
sounds
and
staged
he,
to me.
was no longer able to conduct any further attack.
That was Russell. Go ahead. Okay, yeah. For ROTC students involved, is there any reason to believe that they were targeted?
Well, I believe that at this time, we have to take all the information that we will receive from the victims. So I don't want to make any preemptive judgments or anything to this at this time exactly. Keep in mind, we're going to look at forensic information, anything that he may have had interest specifically for any targets. And because I don't have that yet, I can't confirm that at this time.
Do you know how many people are in the class?
I don't know the exact number of the people in the classroom.
How long do you expect this investigation to last?
It's a fair question. It really completely depends. So we obviously are going to dig in, and this is why we need the public support to where he may have been before this.
Another deflection, y'all.
If he had any other supporters, anybody providing him information. So we have to track every single lead down, and that's is exactly what the FBI will do. Every single lead, you're going to track down the veracity of the information and make sure that we have a full investigation with as much information, again, to ensure that there isn't anyone else that he may have been receiving support from as well.
Do you have any evidence that he was self-funded?
No, I don't have anything at this time.
Thank you, everyone.
Release the full Epstein file list. This is a crisis acting situation. I'm sorry. And you done gave Erika Kirk a White House position. Bibi Netanyahu missing. The courts are kicking your cases out. You know, it's just a lot going on. She's sorry. The FBI, that's FBI, ain't she FBI? FBI gives update. So this is still Trump, right? So this is still a distraction. And it just so happens, oh, she said, oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Hi, Josie, Auntie, B. BB whole house in his underground bunker got hit. Deflect, yes, Stanley, deflect and distract. Yep, Epstein files links it together. Yeah, and then I'm not saying it can't happen, but him coming in, is this the ROTC military? We in a war. I'm just not buying it. But this is what happens when the president in office has lied, manipulated, distracted, have done so much. You understand? So much to avoid them Epstein files. Made up. And, a lot of people don't even know that the Minnesota guy, not the girl, just like Tyler Robinson, were crisis actors. So now you have it where we don't even know if an unalivement is true or not. Because, what was his name? Alex, he has 3 situations and he has died twice. 1 time he lived, 2 times he died. So, yeah. How what? Auntie? Yeah, he's passed away twice. in a crisis situation. Now, a baby girl, I don't know if she is a crisis actor, but Alex Pretty, yeah, he has passed away twice and lived once. Tyler Robinson, who was supposedly taking out Charlie Kirk, yeah, he had two situations. Yeah. And then they don't found pictures of him with Erika Kirk. Yeah, no. So if they wouldn't do all this conniving stuff to deflect from the Epstein files, maybe we would still be believing everything. But yeah, he's made that very hard. I'm gonna tell you now, if it has a texture or a ring to it, yeah, I'm gonna tell you to stay woke, because this may have been staged. Okay, let's get to our girl Candace and see what's popping. Y'all ready to go in? Right now, you know, so everybody can be talking about a terrorist. And these last two in the U.S., it was some at a synagogue today. I haven't checked on it. In Michigan. Let me see this right. It's right here. Yeah, all of this, all because of the Epstein files. And Bibi Netanyahu may be unalive.
Let's bring in Darren Porcher, former NYPD lieutenant. And Darren, AP is now confirming that the suspect is dead.
Now, this is at a synagogue in Michigan.
This is a positive outcome that the suspect has been neutralized, but the testament that we really need to support is that relationship between police and law enforcement, how they have that recurring training between the two entities, because that's going to be paramount.
And where is
these religious institutions, such
what's
as
her name?
we see here on television, have hired
Savannah Guthrie, mama. Let that woman go.
And have a genuine understanding in how to provide the fortification in the buildings, such as what we see here. These religious institutions have been under siege, and when we read the tea leaves from what happened in the Tree of Life shooting, it was something that led us to believe that we need to do more to fortifying these types of locations. So fortunately, no one was hurt, and I'm thankful that the assailant in this particular case didn't do a recon, because had he waited at a longer point in the time of the day, there would have been more victims. So we were fortunate enough that this appears to be a lone wolf attack. So what we're going to do now is something we refer to as a backwards investigation. That's going to start with capturing video at the scene, coupled with going into the individual cell phones, and also connecting with people that do have a relationship with this person to find out how far back the plane took place and how it manifested into the combustible situation that we see on television. Thankfully, this came to an appropriate end, but we still need to continue to provide the necessary fortifications, because at this point in time, we're at war, and we've heard statements that have come from Iran that made mention to the propensity for attacks in the homeland. So now is the time for us to do what's right to protect our United States as well as institutions of this magnitude.
Darren, just a little bit more information about Temple Israel. It calls itself the nation's largest Reform synagogue, 12,000 members. It has an early education center and offers educational programs for families as well as adults. The synagogue says it is passionate about helping Jewish communities across the globe. It has been growing in number, notably, and it says its mission is to create a community.
United States as well as institutions of this magnitude.
Darren, just a little bit more information about Temple Israel. It calls itself the nation's largest Reform synagogue, 12,000 members. It has an early childhood education center and offers educational programs for families as well as adults. The synagogue says it is passionate about helping Jewish communities across the globe. It has been growing in number, notably, and it says its mission is to create a community building through the lens of Reform Judaism. The Jewish Federation of Detroit has advised all Jewish organizations in the area now to go into lockdown, a lockout protocol. Nobody in or out of your building. You just imagine, Darren, that Jewish communities, synagogues all over the country are going to increase their security, and terribly, they're going to live in fear following another incident like this.
Seriously.
Well, Sandra, when we look to the
Cardboard
anti-Semitic
boy
behavior on a
in
global
a coma
perspective,
missing a
it's
leg.
clear that the Jewish community has been under siege.
What do you mean
They've been very
cardboard?
good in hardening their workplace or institutions of religious learning, such as what we see on television. And it's unfortunate society has come to this point, but I will say that the Jewish community is doing a tremendous job in hardening their facilities to assist or prevent attacks of this magnitude being far more catastrophic. We're fortunate we've only had the shooter neutralized and no one else. Remember, 1,200 people had the propensity to come to this location at a later time throughout the course of the day. John, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say, to your point there, in the aerial shots that we see of the synagogue, there do appear to be bollards on the concrete pathway areas in between the driveway and the building itself. You can see their sort of center screen. You see a couple of police cars, and on the paved area, the concrete pathway leading to where you see the smoke, there's a couple of things there just off the sidewalk. Those appear to be bollards, those small ones. And then larger bollards you see on the right-hand side of your screen. That's to prevent vehicle-borne attacks. I mean, again, that's part of where we have come in America. And you come to Washington, D.C., you see those literally lining every street where there's an important building because people are driving vehicles into buildings, all over the world, and many times they're laden with explosives. And if you can stop them from getting in the building, you can certainly dial down the potential for a catastrophic attack. But how that vehicle got in that building, I'm not sure, given that there did appear to be some barricade in front of the sidewalk there. Maybe drove under that tree, part of the grassy area there that is just off of the sidewalk. Not sure, Darren, but again, you talk about this idea of places like synagogues, churches, having to protect themselves. This is part of the protection.
John, you're absolutely right. I live in New York City, and when you go through Times Square, or even if you go through the area where Fox News is located, these bollards are being erected because this has now become the natural order of business as it relates to the fortification. People are weaponizing these vehicles and using them as something that can cause a severe injury or even death to whether it's the people on the street or the occupants of a building. But at the same token, this has become far more universalized as it relates to these balance, and it's here to stay, and I only see more coming in the future.
Darren, so we're reading any further update from the police there. Obviously, this is an incredibly active scene. We have not been told to, to call this not an active shooter situation anymore, although we are now reporting that the suspect is believed to be dead. But the sheriff very notably said when he offered new details that they're still searching to confirm whether or not there was anybody else involved in this, Darren, and likely that is the search that is happening right now, and they're asking anybody who saw anything to please call in.
Right. The synagogue itself has a series of counter-surveillance measures, which are primarily video, and that's capturing...
I'm looking at what...
I'm sorry. This video is capturing the events that transpired just a few minutes ago as it related to the shooter being neutralized. That's going to be something that's going to be very significant in trying to identify the rationale as to why this person did it, what directional path they took to get to the location, and it's going to assist them as we move forward into an after-action review. That after-action review is actually occurring now to determine the positives and the negatives. As John mentioned, although the balance were located at the location, we still had a vehicle that was able to get through. So how can they fortify themselves greater? And by looking through the lens of this video, they're going to be able to make those determinations and create those additional fortifications as it relates to moving forward and protecting those innocent individuals that attend to this location so they don't have to be in fear moving forward.
Darren, forgive me for the interruption. I was communicating with the control room. So we just have now from Bill Malugin the following reporter. Federal law enforcement confirms our reporting that the suspect is dead. Additionally, told the suspect's body is badly burned. He was killed by armed security. Bill was told that he ran the car into the building, had a rifle, got into a shootout with security who killed him. The car was on fire inside, and that would obviously be the source of the smoke coming out of that building. So it would appear now that the immediate threat to the synagogue is over, but now we're dealing with the aftermath of making sure that that fire gets out, clearing the smoke from the building, and then trying to piece together how this all went down, Darren.
Right. An inflammatory device inside is more than likely the cause of why this individual burned up. It appears to me that this was a suicide mission that the assailant was on, and fortunately, we had the appropriate security that was able to neutralize him. In the earlier part of the segment, I heard mentioned as it relates to good guys with guns. This is where the Second Amendment is supported. We need to have good people that have the appropriate background checks and training to ensure that we have a safe and tranquil society. It's a shame that it's gotten to this point, but at the same token, it has gotten to this point. So by being at this point, what do we do to create the necessary fortifications? What you look at on your screen right now is where it came to fruition, and this is how it works when we have good guys with guns protecting us as an innocent society.
Okay, Darren, thank you very much for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox 1.
These glasses automatically turn into sunglasses in bright daylight. All glasses have this tiny flaw, but we fixed it. You see, the lenses inside prescription glasses all have fixed diopters, which work, but only for one job. We all know reading glasses help you see up close, and glasses for distance.
So the same president that the guns and not required the background checks is who's in office right now, right? Okay, let's go. Same guy, right? Let's go. Come on, this thing is crazy today. Hey, Stanley, totally a grassroots terrorist. Both of them gone. One was, I guess, choked out or neck popped by ROTC, and this one, explosion. He burned to death. Okay, let's go.
All right, you guys, it's going to be a hell of a Thursday. What do I have for you? Trump, Kash Patel, Jared Kushner. Why does it now feel like everyone is implicated in the Epstein file cover-up, right? Crazy question for you guys today. Do you believe that the Epstein files may have something to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination? Because for the life of me, I could not fathom how Charlie Kirk, who was a friend to all of these people, all of these very powerful people,
does it make sense to hit a place
by all
where
of them, in the sense
all
that
the feds
when he
are?
died, they all immediately wanted to turn the chapter. They weren't interested. Dedicated his adult life to empowering these people, and I just remember thinking to myself, what's going on? These people now occupy the highest offices in America. Their dear friend was just assassinated, and they seem altogether disinterested in the obvious holes in the Tyler Robinson lone shooter narrative, his wife included. Why does nobody in Charlie's world want a true investigation? I'm now thinking that maybe it's plausible that everyone here is implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein cover-up. Like, do all of these people know each other through the world of New York?
What you saying?
Deeply betrayed by all of that.
Oh, y'all, I need for y'all to get the like button. We're about to go in. I feel it already. It's going to be one of these nights.
In the sense that they all immediately wanted to turn the chapter. They weren't interested. Dedicated his adult life to empowering these people, and I just remember thinking to myself,
What's going on? These people now occupy the highest offices in America. Their dear friend was just assassinated, and they seem altogether disinterested in the obvious holes in the Tyler Robinson lone shooter narrative, his wife included. Why does nobody in Charlie's world with true investigation? I'm now thinking that maybe
Okay, I'm cool. I wasn't directing
that
any
everyone
sarcasm
here
towards
is
you,
implicated
so
in
I
the
hope you
Jeffrey
didn't
Epstein
come
cover-up.
across as such.
Like, do all of
No,
these
you
people
good,
know each
baby.
other through the world of New York real estate, beauty pageants, Israelis, and Eastern European models? I'm now asking myself, are they launching a world war that nobody wants to distract us from the Epstein files? Could the world
Absolutely. Let's
really
go,
be this evil?
Candace.
And on that note, I think it is high time to share the video footage from behind Charlie's head. We will also be sharing the remaining photos that we
From
have in our
behind his
possession from
head.
the inside of the vehicle that Charlie was transported to the hospital in. We're going to release everything because maybe Charlie's vision was correct. He said that he was going to die to help awaken humanity. Let's see. Welcome back to Candace.
Oh, she going in. We going in, y'all. Oh, we going in. Hit the like button. We're about to go in.
Let's begin with an interesting update. So yesterday and the day before, we began breaking the news. The story, Erika's involvement with Epstein's favorite modeling agency, Faith Kate's Next Modeling Management, a Rothschild spinout. We broke the story that her dealings with them involved real estate in some capacity. Erika Franzwey was, as we were told, the point person for the firm when it came to housing young models. More specifically, Erika dealt with apartments in a white building. They had remembered that that white building was located somewhere near 68th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. Well, lo and behold, a few of you guys sent us a building that could potentially match that very description. A building that was owned by Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, who inherited all of his wealth. I want you guys to check out this article, which was published by New York Post.
I agree.
It reads, in part, Exposed, this is the title, inside the New York City condo building where Jeffrey Epstein secretly kept his underage victims. And the article tells us, quote, newly unsealed records reveal that Jeffrey Epstein kept some of his underage victims in an apartment building just 10 blocks from his Upper East Side townhouse. The address is 301 East 66th Street, a 16-story post-war condo between 1st and 2nd Avenues. With a 24-hour doorman, hid another sordid operation. The files show the building functioned as a logistical hub for Epstein's world, and according to civil complaints and sworn testimony, the underage girls that he trafficked. More than a dozen apartments also cycled between wealthy guests, notable foreign dignitaries, and Epstein staffers. Elsewhere in the article, we learned that, quote, one victim had previously described arriving at the building and being shown a small apartment stocked with domestic comforts. She says, I remember the apartment clearly, she said in her 2022 account. It was relatively small, and there was Dannon yogurt in the fridge and a basket of fruit and cookies on the counter. It was a gesture showing the guise of care before she was taken about 9 blocks away to Epstein's townhouse at 9 East 71st Street to give him a massage. She said, quote, I remember feeling quite special, she recalled in the interview. It was a part of the manipulation, though.
Y'all, please hit the like button so I don't have to stop.
That's all part of the grooming process. End quote. Isn't that ironic? There was the photo, which they've embedded into the article because it has an interesting caption. It says, some apartments were labeled in his address book, as apartments for models. Wow, apartments for models. And civil filings allege the condos were used to house young women brought from overseas and provided with living quarters, transportation, and other benefits to secure compliance. This photo is also courtesy
organized
of
crime.
Corcoran. Wow. Corcoran Real Estate. I love that the photo is courtesy of Corcoran Real Estate, because remember, the Corcoran president, according to Jeffrey Epstein's files, was Rothschild. Why is this just giving massive conspiracy? White building right there, The person remembers Erika dealing with models. He's just putting in his phone, apartment for models. What's going on here? Why? Her an email and clarify her relationship with Next Model Management. This feels to me, again, like a massive conspiracy, which could have potentially implicated many more players involved in the New York City real estate scene and who also happen to radically support the nation-state of Israel, given that the Rothschilds credit themselves with having created that nation-state. Yeah, it wasn't biblical, it was banking. The Kushners are involved in Manhattan real estate, right? The Trumps are involved in Manhattan real estate. And from where I'm sitting, it looks like Donald Trump and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi colluded to lie to the American people about the Epstein files. At the very least, we can now assert that they intentionally covered up for Jared Kushner's Israeli business friends who sold Ivanka and Jared their Miami mansion, and they were just found guilty of sex trafficking. Remember, Kash Patel said there was no evidence of trafficking in the files. None.
Who was just found guilty? Oh, the brothers.
American brothers.
Alexander
Tal,
brothers.
Aren, and Alon Alexander were in files.
Yep, definitely. I'm sorry. It's my phone is hot, so it started sticking and it kicked out. So let me back it up. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Like, share, subscribe, join the membership, and get you a membership. Okay, let's go.
This feels to me, again, like a massive conspiracy, which could have potentially implicated many more players who were involved in the New York City real estate scene and who also happen to radically support the nation-state of Israel, given that the Rothschilds credit themselves with having created that nation-state. Yeah, it wasn't biblical, it was banking. The Kushners are involved in Manhattan real estate, right? The Trumps are involved in Manhattan real estate. And from where I'm sitting, it looks like Donald Trump and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi colluded to lie to the American people about the Epstein files. At the very least, we can now assert that they intentionally covered up for Jared Kushner's Israeli business friends who sold Ivanka and Jared their Miami mansion, and they were just found guilty of sex trafficking. Remember, Kash Patel said there was no evidence of trafficking in the files. None. Yet, these Israeli-American brothers, Tal, Aren, and Alon Alexander, were indeed in the files.
Yes, they were.
And we can assume that because of their
T-Sippers, y'all know, remember, I covered a little of this.
Enjoyed a warm relationship with Donald Trump.
Yep.
They certainly visited the White House multiple times. They even were invited to the annual Hanukkah party. And I'm wondering if it's because of that they had their last names redacted from the Epstein files. We were told that the redactions were limited to protecting us from child pornography.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that too was a lie, as we always knew it was. Trump is protecting his friends. He's protecting Jared's friends. He is protecting Israel. And I gotta tell you, it is good to be an Israeli piece of filth that is in with the Trumps and the Kushners. The redactions didn't matter in the end, thanks to the crusade of Congressman Thomas Massie, among others, who Trump now wants primaried down in Kentucky because Israel wants him out. He's not a Zionist. The brothers were revealed because of him, and they were, like I told you, just found guilty in a major sex trafficking case. And, well, I guess let's just check out this news clip to see what sorts of people this administration is working to defend and cover for. Take a listen.
Let's go.
3 brothers have been convicted of sex trafficking. Weeks of emotional testimony. On Monday, a jury found that the Alexander brothers had repeatedly trafficked and engaged in unlawful sexual activity with young women. 2 of the brothers rose to prominence, closing high-end real estate deals in New York and Miami. Tom Hansen joins us now with more. Tom, good morning.
Hey there, Vlad. Good morning to you all. The Alexander brothers were found guilty of all 10 counts against them in federal district court here in Manhattan Monday. Their defense team had argued the brothers were womanizers, but not criminals.
Birds of a feather flock together.
More than a year after the Alexander brothers were first arrested on charges including sex trafficking, a jury
And
found the
they
trio
are
guilty
Jewish.
of all 10 counts against them Monday.
His parents.
Mark represents Oren Alexander.
We believe in our client's innocence, and we're not going to stop fighting until we prevail.
Oren and his brother Tal rose to prominence as real estate brokers to the mega rich, with a splashy profile in the New York Times and appearances on cable business shows about their multi-million-dollar sales.
It's a family affair with us.
Alon Alexander, Oren's twin, worked as an executive for a private security firm owned by the family.
The Alexander brothers worked together and with others to repeatedly and violently drug, sexually assault, and rape dozens of female victims.
All three brothers were arrested in December of 2024. During the trial, the jury heard from 11 women who accused the brothers of rape or sexual assault, including allegations that the Alexanders had drugged the women before assaulting them, even recording certain encounters without consent. The jury found Tal, Oren, and Alon guilty of sex trafficking charges, Tal and Alon guilty of sex trafficking a minor, and Oren and Alon guilty of sexual abuse. Their sentencing has been scheduled for August, and the brothers face life behind bars.
And now that their
but
federal
Trump
trial
will
is over,
pardon
the
them.
Alexander brothers still face additional legal trouble, including in Florida, where Alon and Oren are charged with rape in state
In
court.
Florida
They pleaded
and
not guilty. The
and
details
New York.
pretty disturbing, guys.
Hint, hint.
Why are Israelis like this? Like, what is wrong with them?
Even recording certain encounters without consent. The jury found Tal,
Florida
Oren, and
and
Alon
New
guilty
York.
of sex trafficking charges, Tal and Alon guilty of sex trafficking a minor, and Oren and Alon guilty of sexual abuse. Their sentencing has been scheduled for August, and the brothers face life behind bars.
And now that their federal trial is over, the Alexander brothers still
Israelis.
face additional legal trouble, including in Florida, where Alon and Oren are charged with rape in state court. They have pleaded not guilty. The details pretty disturbing, guys.
Oh, you said how they feel. Okay, okay.
Why are Israelis like this? Like, what is wrong with them? I'm asking seriously.
It's their cult.
And allow me to reiterate what's going on here. So Cash 33 Patel, and the President of the United States, likely under the instruction of his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who everybody knows is running the White House. He was running the White House back in 2020. He's the reason Trump has already admitted that Jared told me to bomb Iran. He told me that they might preemptively strike. Everything he does is because Jared Kushner tells him to. So Trump is essentially just being...
I'm Bibi Netanyahu.
On paper, he's running the White House, but it's always been Jared Kushner, okay? He was the one that also told him to lock everything down during COVID. What's going on here is they have just proven they were willing to lie via redactions to the American people to protect rapists, Israeli rapists, and sex traffickers because they donate to the IDF. You can apparently traffic and you can rape humans as long as you support Israel. That's the most important thing. Oddly, though, trafficking, this just keeps coming up, right? It's a common theme that nobody expected. Throughout our investigation into Charlie Kirk, who killed Charlie Kirk, we keep coming up with themes of human sex trafficking and Israel and the unjustified redaction for the Alexander brothers sure adds a lot more smoke
the Tate
to
brothers
that
should be
meeting
next.
that Andrew Colbert and other Turning Point USA affiliates had with top brass in the West Wing the literal day before the Epstein files dropped. Told you I thought, could it be, like, are they redacting and doing things for their friends?
Say that again.
Little hush hush. Throughout our investigation into Charlie Kirk, who killed Charlie Kirk, we keep coming up with themes of human sex trafficking and Israel and the unjustified redaction for the Alexander brothers sure adds a lot more smoke to that mysterious meeting that Andrew Colbert and other Turning Point USA affiliate had with top brass in the West Wing the literal day
and
before.
let's be clear, the Iranian government said they intentionally hit those military bases that are tied to child, especially little girls, human trafficking. The military bases, they said, it's set up like a brothel. So those military bases that was hit because of the child, allegedly, because of the child trafficking. I don't necessarily think I have to say alleged because he did a whole little live. Okay? Please hit the like button. Hit those 3 dots at the top right so Auntie Fee will not have to keep stopping and pausing. Please support the platform. Let's go.
The Epstein files dropped, which I thought, could it be, like, are they redacting and doing things for their friends?
Yes,
A
indeed.
hush-hush meeting that Mr. 33 Patel wanted to help Andrew Colvett camouflage by way of faking a Charlie Kirk live episode. I'm calling in, I never do this, ha ha ha. Meanwhile, you're together in D.C. I think it's fair to ask, what other pieces of human filth this administration would be willing to help for Israel? Now Trump has proven he will do anything for Israel. He will send your sons and your daughters to die for that. That's actually the plan. They seem to be imparting upon us right now. So poor Charlie for having held him in higher estimation. This brings me to the utterly deranged campaign to foist Erika Kirk upon the masses, right?
Right.
The widow, who was clearly not grieving, the media dismissing her obviously problematic past, no interest,
Romanian
obviously problematic past,
angels.
obviously problematic mother, and now it seems they're taking it a step further, trying to get Erika's turning point into high schools all across America. That's been the push. They're even trying to establish something in Ireland. Ireland, wake up, pay attention. Korea, wake up, pay attention. Okay, it's weird and it's problematic. Let me ask you guys, with everything that we now know, how do you feel at home about the prospect of Erika Kirk, Tyler Boyer, the Farnsworths, and the Turning Point staff being heavily endorsed for high school classrooms in particular?
That's a no-go.
That's what's happening. It's Club America. That's what it's called. Yesterday, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and yes, that is Mike Huckabee's daughter, might be relevant to the theme of Israel.
How did he get out of Israel?
Proclamation with Erika Kirk by her side, announcing her support for every high school in Arkansas to adopt
Oh my
Club
God,
America.
they want the kids.
I want you guys to watch Erika in this
Nika,
clip, by the way. Pay
then we
attention
talk
to
about the
Erika's
kids in
mannerisms
schools.
in this clip because I swear
Get their
everything
asses
about
up out of there. Do
screams
homeschool
fraud.
and treat it
Terrible,
like it's the
not even D-list,
COVID-19.
E-list actress. Because now she's
Homeschool
gonna
your
take on
kids.
this sheepish and scared Erika and her
The
mannerisms.
attack is
all right?
on the
Let's
kids.
watch and listen to this.
We are here to welcome one of the conservative movement's most talented, most outspoken, and most faithful leaders, Erika Kirk, to our great state. We're so proud to have her, and we're so proud of the incredible work that
Look at her trying to act like she humble.
Encourage students across
Look at her looking innocent.
engage
Oh my
in
God.
Club America, which we're launching here in Arkansas, and we're just honored to have you.
Oh my
So
God.
grateful, and thank you for honoring Charlie and his legacy and his mission to have a Club America on every high school chapter across the country. So
Oh, y'all,
God
I
bless you
can't
guys, and
with
thank
her.
you.
Oh, I can't.
It's just so this sheepish and scared Erika and her mannerisms. All right, let's watch and listen
Oh
to
my
this.
God.
We are here to welcome one of the conservative movement's most talented, most outspoken,
Put your
and most
head down
faithful
for.
leaders, Erika Kirk, to our great state. We're so proud to have her, and we're so proud of the incredible work that she is doing to help encourage students across the country to engage and
Y'all, are
join
y'all
Club
looking at this?
This sheepish and scared Erika and her mannerisms. All right, let's watch and listen to this.
We are here to welcome one of the conservative movement's most talented, most outspoken, and most faithful leaders, Erika Kirk, to our great state. We're so proud to have her, and we're so proud of the incredible work that she is doing to help encourage students across the country to engage and join Club America, which we're launching here in Arkansas, and we're just honored to have you.
Thank you. God bless you. We're so grateful, and thank you for honoring Charlie and his legacy and his mission to have a Club America on every high school chapter across the country. So God bless you guys, and thank you.
It's just so performative, and it gives me the ick. Because somehow, as we have demonstrated, child sex abuse allegations, scandals, that seems to follow that sheepish girl that you just saw on the screen. She's just unlucky that way. It's never her. It's the U.S. Marines, Colonel Otto Busher. It's everyone around her that seems adjacent to these sorts of scandals. Take, for example, United Hands Romania. That's the organization that Erika partnered with on her Romanian Angels project. Okay, she partnered with an organization known as United Hands Romania. And something that immediately flagged me as weird is that when giving an interview about United Hands, Erika mentioned that the Romanian orphans did not trust the woman that was running it. I want you to take a listen to what Erika says about this woman who's running United Hands. Take a listen.
The Black Sea Rotational Force Base got moved to Norway in 2018. And for the past, I want to say, 8 to 9 months, maybe even 10, the woman that is the boots on the ground in Romania for United Hands Romania Association, the head of that lives in Ohio. She has all of these backpacks and back to school supplies and all of these different things for the kids that she wants to send over there. And our contact, who was at the base in Constancia, is no longer there. And the people who are there don't trust her because they don't have a connection to her. And so I have literally been praying to figure out how to get a hold of someone at that base to be able to be like, hey, we're going to be shipping in. Because I use a different shipping company to get there. I never use the militaries.
The kids don't trust an adult woman to give them presents? Again, that flagged me as very odd. Children not trusting a woman, so much so that they don't want to accept gifts from her. Nope. Been around, have 4 kids, have a lot of toddlers around. It's not right. I've heard of shy kids that need to warm up to strangers, right? But what Erika is describing there is a woman that has been involved with the organization for over a decade. She's been involved with this orphanage for over a decade. That signals to me that the kids know something about her. There's a reason they don't trust her, even when she is holding gifts. That was my gut instinct. So I went to investigate who that woman was and was gratefully sent an article by Romanians. Thank you guys so much for the work that you've done here. This article was published in 2017. And I'll show you first and foremost that Erika discusses her partnership. The woman's name is Renee Crossman. Okay, she thanks her in this article. The quote reads, "We have formed a partnership with the Antonio Placement Center in Constanta. And as we promised, we are doing everything possible to take this friendship further for the benefit of Romanian children. We fell in love with these children and with the idea of repeated help over time, so we included this action in our list of international initiatives. I am happy to collaborate with the United Hands Romania Association and Renee Crossman, the president of this organization, but also with the representatives of the Antonio Placement Center." Okay. She says, "Truly thank you to the many Romanians who sent," sorry, that's me. So like I said, you guys, thank you very much for sending me all of those articles. And it allowed me to look further into this Renee Crossman and what her background is. And a clue as to why maybe the children don't trust her. Vulnerable children don't trust Renee. It might be because Renee is a member of a cult. You may have heard of this cult. It used to be known as Children of God. Yeah, there are documentaries which are dedicated to discussing the Children of God cult. And I'm going to tell you about Children of God. Actually, I'm going to read you verbatim words written by a Romanian investigative team, because this is going to sound familiar to you. This investigative team in Romania began looking into United Hands, began looking into Renee Crossman and the religious sect that she came from, the Children of God, which is now referred to as the family. It was founded by evangelist David Berg, born in California in 1919. The article tells us Berg had a very turbulent life, one that included incestuous sexual relations with a cousin, and even one of his daughters, Faithy, whom he made into a sexual partner when she reached the age of 12. Around 1970, Berg began aggressive proselytizing, especially among young hippies, whom he convinced to leave their jobs, give up education, family, and all material possessions in order to join the Children of God. In the United States and Canada, as well as in London and other major cities of Europe, Australia, Latin America, Berg was in the habit of finding justifications for sins through prophetic words. arrogantly proclaiming himself to be God's prophet for the end times, making known God's word for today, taking verses and examples from Scripture and out of context in an attempt to validate his new doctrines. Berg instructed the Children of God to spread throughout the world, first in Europe in 1971 and later to reach every continent by the mid-1970s. The Children of God began calling themselves the family of love. Sexual excesses inevitably led to child sex. Faithful to his personal history, Berg claimed that incest and sex involving minors were permitted, and thus soon a series of cases appeared of mothers and fathers becoming sexually intimate with their sons and daughters, and even of young children committing sexual acts with other children.
Yeah, why my
or
lights
adult
ain't went up?
members. Mixing his sexual immorality with occultism, Berg
Hey,
claimed that
Chanel.
he maintained relationships with the entire
Thank you, Mrs.
pantheon of
Tom.
pagan goddesses, including Aphrodite, Diana, the goddesses of Atlantis, Macumba, which is in fact the name of the Afro-Brazilian cult, which is similar to voodoo, and many others, while continuing to proclaim salvation through faith in Jesus Christ. End quote.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Talking about cultism, weird sex stuff happening, saying that you're doing things in the name of Christ, access
wow.
to children. Yeah, you know what? Back in 2018, actually, Megyn Kelly did an interview, a profile piece, and an interview with a woman who left the cult and wanted to share her story. Her name is Christina Babin, and listen to what Christina told Megyn Kelly about her upbringing. Take a listen.
In 1976, David Berg introduced flirty fishing, which encouraged female members to show God's love through sexual relationships with potential converts. As for young girls like Christina,
Funky
she says
fishy.
they were encouraged
Oh,
to engage.
Lord. I'm not going to do it, but I sure could go back to that funky monkey. But I'm going to let them make it. Because we be talking about, oh, wow. What's the name of this cult? Oh, Lord. Funky monkey. Oh, wow. Let's go.
And listen to what Christina told Megyn Kelly about her upbringing. Take a listen.
In 1976, David Berg introduced flirty fishing, which encouraged female members to show God's love through sexual relationships with potential converts.
Excuse me.
As for young girls like Christina, she says they were encouraged to engage in what Berg called sexual sharing.
Father David had sent out a letter to everybody and said that children should be shown how to have sex. And an adult couple came and got me in the night and showed me how to have sex. And I knew by that time, I already knew that women were supposed to be prostitutes and we weren't supposed to say no to sex and that sex was part of our life. So I knew mentally what was expected of me and what I was supposed to feel. But when it happened, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. And I thought there was something wrong with me.
Sick demons.
To be clear, Renee Crossman, Erika's partner on Remaining Angels, who the children, according to Erika, do not trust, is a self-admitted member of this cult. She has not been accused of any wrongdoing. No, the U.S. Marines that she partnered with were going to be accused of wrongdoing. They're going to be accused of prostituting children. But Renee Crossman herself has not been accused of anything, and she says she defends the cult which was subsequently instructed to disperse and hide themselves in the world of nonprofit, according to the investigative piece. Are we to believe the U.S. Marines didn't catch that in a background check on Renee Crossman? She's an American. I imagine there was a background check involved in that. Like I said, everything and everyone around Erika, just not Erika. Why is it that everything about Turning Point right now reminds me of a religious cult? Right?
Yeah.
The way Erika speaks, her mannerisms, her inflection, her saying Turning Point is her family. That's what they call themselves.
R-O-O-M-D-D.
What? Are you a CEO or are you not CEO? Her choosing to have Stacy, the chief fundraiser over there, at her side, rather than her biological family members after her husband was assassinated, that's proof that she does believe it is her family. Nothing was weird to her. This is my family.
Yeah,
her defense of sexual deviant Tyler Boyer. Well, how do these people know each other? The way in which they are trying to seed the public and convince the public that this is what God wanted, God ordained this. Erika is so godly, she cannot even get a sentence out without saying the Lord. And I'm going to be honest, it creeps me out. The whispering creeps me out. It does not fill me with any sense of light. In fact, it fills me with quite the opposite. I feel uncomfortable. I feel like I am watching a religious cult try to indoctrinate the masses.
Manipulate.
I felt like Charlie's entire assassination was a cult, as I presented to you. Like it was a cult and it was meant to hypnotize the world. I mean, the whispering. Let's go back and actually watch this clip of Erika on Jesse Waters when I say I'm speaking about the way she whispers makes me uncomfortable. Take a listen.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that if the Lord, which this does not happen, but if the Lord gave him an option to return back to earth, and if the Lord said, this is what your death is going to be the catalyst for, do you want to go back and exchange it? He'd say no. Wow. He'd say no.
Really? He'd say no. He wants his kids to grow up alone. But again, this is a part of brainwashing. It's brainwashing tactics for a cult. That's how I feel. I have a right to feel that turning point has turned into something else.
Yeah, hustling God.
It was infiltrated.
But they're not believers in Jesus
Erika
Christ.
is very obviously taking it in a direction that makes me uncomfortable. Everything you see
They're
about her background
imposters.
and the manner in which she was raised screams fraud to me. She lies pathologically as if she herself was brainwashed, as if she doesn't know that she's lying. It should tell you
she knows
that something is not right here. And now we have to go max for Charlie. That's how I feel. We need to go max for Charlie because when I look at all the players on the board, when I look at her relationship with Trump, when I look at the way that they are continuing to defend her and to try to tell us that she must be accepted, no. It screams at me just the opposite. And when we get back, we're going to be releasing the remaining photos and the video evidence that we have from September 10th.
Oh, please hit the like
All
button,
right, you
y'all.
guys, if you've been following me for a while, then you know how much I absolutely love Riverbend Ranch steaks. If you have not yet tried chemical. So why today? Why now? Well, it's been 6 months, and I frankly
Jesus Christ
think we all
is the
feel pretty
truth and the
confident
lie.
that Turning Point is
And the
some sort
only
of
way.
a grand
That's
hostile
right.
takeover going at the very least, right? Zionists are in there. They didn't kill him, but they are going to now force people that Charlie didn't like at the helm of this company, right? They're going to defend those individuals. And I think we are very much entitled to that opinion, that something's not right. In the beginning, I was not sure about Erika. Thought maybe she
yeah,
was
you
dealing
gave
with
her
a lot
grace
behind the
for
scenes,
too
trying to
long,
figure out where
baby.
the snakes are. I do not feel that way today about Erika. I now feel her motives are impure. And that's putting it lightly. I now know for a fact she is dishonest. Her background, the pathological lies all throughout it. And so the internet must have everything because the people that should be defending Charlie are not. No, they're not defending Charlie at all. They are going around actually trying to spread this Fed slop and trying to guilt us and trying to tell us that we're demonic for recognizing that something we were forced to all, I guess, not partake, but look at what was an occult ceremony. I believe that. I believe Charlie's death, the setting of it, everything was planned down to the T. I believe he was sacrificed. Okay? And so we want to share all the evidence that we have so that the people that I bet Charlie wishes he was friends with, the YouTubers that have spent time on this, the people that have put things together to try to figure out what did happen on that day.
Everybody should have a friend like Candace. Hey, Cynthia.
And not the people that he spent so much time building up. All right, so first, let us begin with the photos inside the van. We had only showed one. I'm going to show you this one here so that you guys can take this. Here is a closer bit. I do want to point out that it does very much look, those were his associates and not the people that he spent so much time building up. All right, so first, let us begin with the photos inside the van. We had only showed one. I'm going to show you this one here so that you guys can take this. Here is a closer bit. I do want to point out that it does very much look to me like there is some sort of shattered
So
glass,
there's no
the back.
blood on the floor.
His mic
None.
that he had on him, and so I just want to say that I do
None.
see that all across the back seat, which is interesting.
And
I
that
know
looks
some
like
people are
ketchup.
working, Baron Coleman being one of them, working on trying to examine why they told the story about how Brian Harpole was hanging out of the SUV, which wasn't the circumstance when they pulled out, so it's a bit confusing. Hopefully this helps. Here is another photo. and I should have said viewer discretion advised. You know, they
Okay,
had told
so
us this story
there you
about
go.
how they had so much gauze and so much and all this stuff. We were able to find basically what you see in the corner there that kind of looks like a UPS ticket, like a UPS, yeah, I guess you could say a UPS package ticket. What that is actually Instaclot, and
Instaclot,
which is essentially instant gauze, and there's just one on the floor. So unless he opened one and then put the rest of the packaging in his bag, which would be unusual, there's only one on the floor there that we could see. Hopefully, again, having looked through these photos and taking a look around, if you are one of the people, and this is another side angle, if you are one of the people that has been working on this story, you can, hopefully
she
I'll
true
just
blue, baby.
see you in the online universe.
Thank
and
God
I
for
can
her.
share these photos with you. Because again, this now feels important, and I have no understanding
trust
as to
none
why
of 'em.
Turning Point USA would not share every piece of footage they have. Obviously, the feds are not telling us the truth, and also Kash Patel has been caught lying. I don't understand how Kash Patel is still in office, but I guess everyone is just, if you lie for the right people, which seems to be always the Israel.
See you
will be
in
protected.
Valhalla.
Even if you rape people, which we've just learned, you will be protected somehow, redacted, at the very least. Now we're going to get into this video. This is a long video. I told you guys how this happened, how I came about this. At the beginning, I didn't suspect anything with Turning Point, obviously. That all changed after I had a phone call with Terrell. I recognized he was acting very strange on the phone, lying, saying he didn't know how to send a file. I was genuinely reaching out to him because I thought I could help clear his name, because people thought he was suspicious for taking down the camera. And I thought he was going to give me a perfectly reasonable reason as to why he did that. Like, oh, I was just instructed by the Fed or something to do that. And I was nervous. No, just excuse after excuse. And I didn't understand why there would be any reason he was lying, saying he didn't know how to send a file, but you run an audiovisual
And they
company.
say she crazy.
Now I've learned about his dad and his uncles and his cousins and their relationship with Lori Franzfey dating back to 2013, and it's all not looking good. None of this is looking good. Anyway, let's get to some of this video now. We're going to scrub through this, but we'll show you. Let's get
Likes
to the first
up,
few minutes
likes up,
of this,
hit
and
the
then I'm
lights
gonna
up,
show you
thumbs
some other
up. Thank
parts.
you, Mrs.
Remember, I'm
Tom.
on screen record here, so get to this. And by the way, I think at some point they said they didn't have the footage. They have the footage, okay? Terrell was at his office when he showed me this. And here we go. You can just play this. And if you guys are just on audio, you'll obviously need to come cut this on video, because I can't really describe, obviously, the question that's being asked. At this moment right here, we had assumed initially that was his recorder or something. I can confirm, you'll see later, that it's whipping fast and it looks white when it whips fast, but that is in fact his necklace. That is his necklace. And I find that for some reason to be very strange that the necklace goes up first.
It's that mic.
You can see this, obviously. And by the way, there's no gore in this, so you only need viewer discretion, because like I said, which kind of broke the internet, the bullet didn't go through, and not only did not go through, it didn't even cause any sort of a mess. His perfectly white t-shirt was white until the moment that he hit the ground. Skylar, we can get to that portion, I guess, where they can more clearly see the, well, first we can show them the magnet that's still on him. I guess we'll get to that. Yeah, there you go. We can pause there. So they can see that is his necklace, and it's I don't know how to describe that. I don't know if you would say it's still on him. There was a lot of story. Everybody had a personal story about Charlie's necklace, which struck me as very odd. Okay, it struck me as odd because Erika, Frank tells the story about how he came out to get his backpack from the car as the feds were searching it at the hospital, and he saw Charlie's necklace on his backpack, which was in the car. And the feds said,
County, upstate New York. Hey.
Really? Why were the feds looking for the necklace? How did they know he had a necklace? That's very strange. Erika, of course, has told several stories about the necklace and how precious the necklace was to him, and how grateful she was that she got the necklace back. I think maybe even Brian Harple had a story about that. I got to go back and look through it. But everyone's got a story about the necklace. It seems like a strange focus of this day, and so I want to just point that out, that it is the necklace that is hanging. You can see that, and maybe you can see it clearer when it's on my phone. So like I said, I'm happy to send it around, but you can at some points even see and observe the chain. Again, this is after Charlie is hit, so you are seeing 0 blood heading backward. That feels wrong to me. That instantly felt wrong to me for what they are telling us took place here, which is a 30-06. It's not even enough to pretend that this was like an event where it already is, I would say, insane to try to say this was some miracle event and, you know, Charlie's neck stopped this. It gets even crazier when you say, but it didn't even cause any blood. Everything you saw was blood that came because an artery got hit and that went forward. So I just want to say that. I will never buy the narrative that a 30-06 is what killed Charlie Kirk. I'm just not accepting that narrative whatsoever. We can continue, and we can sort of point out some more portions here. I just keep going through here. Okay, you can see Charlie was not down. He was always also upward, which I know a lot of people know stuff about. We can kind of look close at that. Is that a recorder? The magnet clasp right there. Some people were wondering. Some people thought that the magnet clasp. I know there was more portions here. I just keep going through here. Okay, you can see Charlie was not down. He was always also upward, which I know a lot of people know stuff about. We can kind of look close at that. Is that a recorder? The magnet clasp right there. Some people were wondering. Some people thought that the magnet clasp. I know there was a lot of stuff about the magnet clasp. That's it. It's still on him. I know those things are very powerful. And I think John Bray explained to me that the magnet clasp would have stayed on, but what was behind it would have fallen off because he has a theory, and I think I would say it's a well-adopted theory that the Rode microphone is what was shattered in the backseat of the car, and so I wanted to show that as well so you guys could see that. We can keep scrubbing through here. Only, as you can see on his hand, because blood went forward, is the only place that you see any blood drops here. Flipping again, for sure. You can see Dan actually pushes him, by the way. Dan takes him to the ground, which he should do, but I think it's important to note that. You can see what's on the table there, which I think is good too, from what's behind the table, in case there's any clues here. Some people thought that that guy had grabbed something on the table, and I had confirmed too that he did not, because I saw that, and when he slides across, do you want to go back to that slide so they can see that, Sky? Yeah, there's nothing on the table that he grabs. There's a book. It looks like maybe Charlie had a notebook, it looks like. I don't know if there's a way to like slow that down a bit. Yep, there you go. You can see when his hands first come on the table, he does not grab anything. So that is a conspiracy theory that we can shut down. Okay. And keep going. Any other points here people might want to know?
Good team. Hit the like button, y'all. Come on.
Oh, you can see kind of what's around him more broadly. Speakers. There we go. Yeah, I think. Okay, and then beyond that, we just have some crowd shots, and you can show some of that as well. Like to scrub there. And we're just scrubbing through the parts that are just obviously pause, be talking. All right, and so that's it. Yeah, I feel that it is our duty to share that with the public, and because our officials, the feds, politicians, they failed us. They have been so dishonest. This has been the year of really seeing how it really operates inside of DC. Everyone is disgusting, left and right, and obviously there are a few exceptions, but altogether it is just, it's just a place of filth, DC. It's a place of filth. I really do believe that they have to sell themselves and sell their souls, and they all are just going like are comfortable, have sort of made their bed and like, yeah, I'm going to go to hell, but I don't know, maybe they think they're going to come back from hell. I don't know what these people think. I know the occult, people that worship the occult believe in reincarnation, and so all they care about, since they know that they have no access to heaven, is making sure that they are princes of this world, so to speak. And they do worship Baal, and there's a lot of occult practice and worship, and it comes up as different names. It's Frankism, it's Sabbatianism, it's child of God, but really what is manifesting is the same ideology sort of redressing itself as something else, and inevitably children are harmed. That's what it is. And look, as even more evidence of Turning Point having reversed course on Charlie's perspectives, look no further than what's going on with Thomas Massie. Like I said, he pushed for the Epstein files to be released, and so Trump is really angry at him and is stumping, and he wants to make sure he gets primaried down in Kentucky. And the facts are that Charlie Kirk named Thomas Massie as one of his favorite congressmen. You don't have to take my word for it. You can take Charlie's. Take a listen.
One of the most exciting developments from last week's negotiations is the new church committee. And one of the members of that new church committee is one of my favorite members of Congress. He loves the Constitution. He loves liberty. He's honest and he's tough, and he's going to really go after the intel agencies. It's Thomas Massie, who's just terrific, from Kentucky. Congressman Massie, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Charlie.
Had private conversations with Charlie. He loved Thomas Massie. So you can imagine Thomas Massie was a bit confused when Turning Point Action, which is run by Tyler Boyer and which kicks money back to Erika's mother via Superfeed, tweeted out that Thomas Massie was a rhino who needed to be replaced. This is Turning Point USA that had Ben Shapiro open for MEMPHIS behind Erika, and they're shouting out Thomas Massie as being a rhino because he won't vote for more funding to go to Ukraine and Israel. Take a look. This is a real tweet. MAGA rallies are back. Trump haters are on notice. Okay. Now you can obviously see why Thomas Massie might have been a little bit confused. And he wasn't the only one, by the way. X was apparently also confused, because look at that fact check. Rep. Thomas Massie was one of Charlie Kirk's favorite congressmen. Just a little note here. Stop. You just can't make this up. You cannot make up that they are now being fact checked on what Charlie believed versus what they are now pushing for, which is the opposite. To be hit with a community note, and you are the organization that purports to be carrying on Charlie's legacy, it is just so embarrassing. And it's also sick, right? I'm glad the community note was able to inform Turning Point that Massie was indeed one of Charlie's favorite congressmen. This is kind of where we're at with Turning Point USA. Thomas Massie, of course, tweeted back asking a simple question, which is, what has gotten into y'all? He just wants to know what has gotten into y'all. And then shows a tweet with Charlie reiterating, one of my favorite congressmen, Thomas Massie. And he's been his favorite congressman from at least 2016 all the way through 2023. And I wanted to answer Thomas Massie's question. I wanted to help him. What is going on? You want to know what's going on? Turning Point USA used to be a student organization that was founded by and ran by Charlie Kirk, a boy genius. And it has now been taken over, and it's more akin to LBJ USA. That's what I would call it, LBJ USA. They're reversing course on everything Charlie believed in, and it's not subtle. They're not even trying to keep up appearances. Like, I thought, if I was being smart about it, if I was staging the Zionist takeover, the Zionist ideology takeover, I would at least keep up appearances for 1 year. Like, only the people that Charlie really loved and everybody knew, and I'd be like, okay, we're carrying on his legacy. And then maybe a year later, I started introducing the Mark Levins and the Ben Shapiros and being like, oh, well, you know, it's been a year and Charlie would have wanted this. No, they couldn't do it.
Wow.
They couldn't do it. It was like they were under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to instantly bring it all out and bring out the people that Charlie didn't like, doing interviews with the New York Times, everyone who gave him grief while he was alive. That's something that is just remarkable.
They couldn't even wait 6 months.
Didn't even try to fake it.
Nope.
Anyway, we will take a quick break, and I
They
will be
could
back
not
to answer some of
fake
your
it,
questions.
baby.
All right, you guys, when it comes to my kids and my family, I do not take any chance with Owens. All right, you guys, top comments from last episode. Ocean City writes,
Wow.
if Erika runs for president, Candace should run independent so they can debate.
Ooh.
Maybe only so we can debate. I have zero interest in running for president. I am so done with politics, but I would be interested in
A good old
debating
debate.
or even just conversing publicly with Erika Kirk.
Oh, that would be
Otherwise,
hilarious.
so since they're probably just going to be like, no, she's
And
president,
exposing.
like she will have to go through a debate stage. So maybe I will have to meet her there. This next user writes, my son
They would
was
definitely
born
come for
yesterday,
her if
and he
Erika
said
Kirk.
he also doesn't believe Erika's crap. Yeah, it is hard. It's a struggle being not born yesterday, and apparently even the people that are literally born yesterday are not buying any of this.
Nope.
Top comments from today's episode, or people, sorry, that are giving to comment. Project Constitution writes, students all over the country are revolting in protest of Turning Point and Erika Kirk. They don't want them speaking at their schools, churches, or mandating high school chapters. We are winning the Go Max. I did see they were protesting that in Arkansas. Good. Okay, they don't need a proclamation from a Huckabee to decide if they want to open a student club. These
Right.
people are minors. I do not think Turning Point, until they are ready to fully answer questions regarding Erika Kirk's past, that they should be given access to minors, full stop. This is pretty basic stuff. Hey, this is concerning. This is concerning. There have been some incidences that have happened. We're hearing this, we're hearing that. Maybe there is a reasonable explanation. Maybe there's a reasonable explanation for why Erika Kirk was at Model Management and at this white building, but people should hear it. People should hear it. Because at the end of the day, no one is interested in wanting the wrong information, to share the wrong information, but the silence on things that are just so easy to respond to. Like if someone messaged me and said, hey, Candace, we heard that back when you were working in New York City, that you had keys to a White House and you were ushering in malls. I'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. This is not true. Do not print that. It's completely untrue. Not a shred of truth to that. She's not doing that. She's not doing that at all. Remain Angels. This woman, Renee Crossman, everywhere she goes. Madison Melker writes, I have been donating to Turning Point USA since before Charlie's death, ever since I received letters at least once every couple of weeks asking for more money to help continue Charlie's vision. Kind of odd to me since you are the one that is supposedly grifting. Oh, you didn't know that his vision was to be on a license plate? You didn't know that his vision was for everyone to send them their 401ks, and everything is his vision. Everything is his vision except for the words that came out of his mouth that painted his vision. They want you to ignore all of that. Yeah, it is beyond ridiculous, and they have zero awareness of themselves, is what I would say, as they had the audacity to call anybody grifting, given the amount of money they have made off of Charlie and their refusal to do the right thing and to say what Charlie actually thought, as opposed to trying to direct the ghost of Charlie. To say the opposite is ridiculous. James Lee says, you guys and the bun. Oh no, the low bun. Same person, Vadamore writes, battle bun merch. You guys, it might be a thing. I didn't know this was a thing. Johnny America writes, hair pulled back, an expression on her face, she about to go off. I did not know that I was doing this subconsciously, but I think it is a thing. When I get fed up, I do go, there is a battle bun happening. You learn things about yourself on the internet sometimes.
Okay, y'all, I'm finna shut it down. I'm wide awake. I may come back after doing a little research on that church, that cult church. But if not, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank y'all for coming in, joining me.
Not true, and then sometimes you learn things about yourself on the internet that are true, and this has been a stunning development that happens to be true. Kai writes, have you seen the upcoming Turning Point USA events that are coming soon? The speakers are Erika, JD, Donald Jr., Caroline Levitt, Lawrence Jones, Matt Walsh, etc., etc. I received it via email, and I cussed them out. I cannot live here anymore. I have not seen the upcoming Turning Point USA events that are coming soon, so I